When was the last time we did a hogCAST?
Before the Acolyte. It was about 9 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Wow.
That's too long.
I said about 6 to the wife. She went, oh,
Well, no, because we've literally had the whole of the Acolyte in the time we've been away. And that's 8 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yay.
Bonjour, everyone.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. You all right?
It has been too long. Come on.
It has.
So
Way too long.
the entire series of Acolyte, you reckon?
It has been the whole Acolyte. We've been away.
Did we all watch the whole thing? Or not me? I didn't.
No, we did.
I didn't even watch anything.
I haven't watched episode 8, but I've seen enough reviews to know what's gone on. So.
Fantastic.
So, come on and take us. You kick it off. You kick it off for us. Go on then.
Where do I start?
I watched episode 1. I can't say if I was sober or not.
That might have helped. I mean, episode 1 was better than I thought. I think we both said that. Yeah, I honestly was expecting episode 1, the bar to be like down there somewhere, right. And it wasn't. It was about mid. So it was just like, but it didn't get any better than that. That was the highlight.
It went
very rapidly, very rapid, and of course, it's all the fans. We're all wrong. It's just us. It's just us. It's what can we say?
That's another T-shirt, isn't it? It's just us.
Is there any redeeming qualities to it, or is it just all bad?
It's the small minority of fans that give the 86% shit score on Rotten Potatoes. Just a small minority. The 14% is from the larger majority that love it.
I actually didn't think that the fight in the beginning was bad. I was like, this is actually a good fight. The fight scene when she went to kill the Matrix girl.
No, it was the fight scene in the where they was in the wooded area. I can't remember what episode it was because I didn't really pay that much attention. But there was a fight scene in the wooded area, and it was literally people standing around waiting for their turn.
Oh man!
Like, these are Jedi. These are top tier Jedi, and they're just standing there waiting for their turn to die.
Has it messed up any sort of continuity? Have they just done their own thing?
Loads of continuity. What
have they messed up?
The Kiadi Mundi thing, it was really annoying. Everybody got annoyed about that. And the clapback from them was, like everyone's getting the ump back because of the birthday of Kiadi. Nothing to do with his birthday. It's the fact of what he said in the Phantom Menace. That's what's been upset. He's talking about 1,000 years of peace, and you've set this show like 130 years prior to Phantom Menace. So where's the 1,000 years of peace? There was no Sith for 1,000 years.
Messed it up straight away. Then.
Messed it up straight away.
They don't care.
They don't.
Yeah.
I honestly.
Is there actually any Sith in this then?
One. Yes.
I honestly. Oh, technically 2. Hang on. Yeah, technically 2. I honestly think everybody that worked on this show has never ever seen Star Wars.
Wow.
I got that vibe too. I stopped at episode 3 after the power of one, power of 2, power of many. I could not continue past that point. I think I started episode 4, but I felt like this was something that was written as its own thing, and then Disney said, I think we could make this happen in the Star Wars universe. It felt so bizarre. It didn't have the essence of Star Wars in it for me. And I'm not a Star Wars expert. I mean, I'm somebody who enjoyed the first 3, not 1, 2, and 3, but 4, 5, and 6, and then kind of enjoyed 1, 2, and 3. But it was very obvious, even to me, who barely knows anything, that this is not Star Wars. This feels very weird. This felt like something completely different. And I think that that's a mistake, a huge mistake.
It even messed up with Disney's continuity of Star Wars. So in that last episode, where she fight Osha, the girl who's basically all the way in 7 episodes, she's basically good, and in the last episode she turns bad. Even in that, Disney, I don't know if you remember the comics, Hog, where Disney basically said to make your lightsaber into a Sith saber, you have to bleed the crystal.
Right, yeah.
Right, so that was a Disney invention. So in this, she's just holding the lightsaber and it's blue, and she goes like, and it starts to turn red slowly. And it's just like, hang on a minute, that's
I've
Disney
seen that.
continuity, and you've still fucked that up.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
It's-
lovely.
It's literally the only two words I can think of is copy paste. It's let's take stuff that everyone else has done and sort of like bastardize it into something that looks kind of like Star Wars if we have people running around with lightsabers.
I was thinking about this with the Acolyte, and then also Rings of Power, and then the last one was the Wheel of Time. The people who are fans of these IPs are smart. They're really into the IPs. They know the lore. They know what happens. They know what the rules are in this universe. So I think that they're putting out stuff thinking, these are just a bunch of, geeks. They don't care. They just like the cool, pretty lights and whatnot. But no, these are people who are really interested in the way this world works. And we're impressed that they're able to continue under those same rules and give us so many stories. And so I think that it's just an underestimating on their part. They're looking at their audience thinking that we're just there for the flashy lights and special effects, but we're not. We're there for something else. We're there for the world building. We're there for the characters. We're there for the feel of the story.
Did it add to any of the world building at all? Did it try and like link in any sort of way or anything like that? Or was it just its own complete separate entity?
In very random ways, like I say, out of the blue, you get a little shot of Darth Plagueis hiding in a cave.
Okay, that's strange.
Just
Yeah,
no reason
that's very
whatsoever.
strange.
Darth Plagueis is hiding in a cave, and again, it's just random shit. It's just
Wow.
I don't know. Leslie Headland's now got the official title of bringing Darth Plagueis to the live screen long before he should be in the story. But hey, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Timelines don't matter.
Wow.
It's again like we can now get stabbed with lightsabers and we're good, and timelines don't matter. So
did lightsabers actually work as lightsabers in this? So when someone got stabbed with a lightsaber, they don't just...
No. Well, again, in the last episode, they changed the way lightsabers work slightly. So when they were fighting, you had oh shit, I forget all their names. Squid Game guy. What was his name? Master Soul. So he was fighting the Sith guy, and again, I can't remember his bloody name. And when the sabers are clashing, now you've got to remember these are two beams of light. When these things are clashing, they're creating sparks and things are shooting off of them. And there's, that's not how a lightsaber works. But okay, that's fine. That's your interpretation of a lightsaber.
So did people die when they got stabbed by lightsabers, or did everyone survive?
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's one girl, the girl that played X-23 in Logan, Daphne King, her character, again, can't remember names. He stabbed her about 3 or 4 times, and look, with a little saber thing,
Mini,
like a little dagger,
a light
thing.
dagger,
light dagger thing, yeah. And he stabbed her about 3 or 4 times. She did actually die. Yeah.
No, but it took 3 or 4 blows, not just the one blow
Because
that
the
would
story
take you
needed
out.
her too.
Hey.
The story needed her too. So
yeah. Well, pretty much by the end of this, other than the 2 bad guys, everybody's dead. Sorry, spoiler alert.
which is good in a way. No series 2 because everyone's dead.
Yeah.
No series 2 anyway, but yeah, there's definitely no series fucking 2. I mean, I know the internal ramblings. Kathleen Kennedy and Headland are going nuts, and they're trying to really reverse the cancellation of season 2. But for what, I don't know.
Isn't it a shame that, I mean, here we are, hogCAST 34. I mean, my God, how many could we go back through where this conversation about?
Yeah, same conversation.
And like I said, I tried watching episode 1, and my life has just been so nice without that.
Yeah. I only watched it to see if it was actually as bad as everybody was raving about. And
yeah, same.
It's actually that bad.
You still see, when you're clicking around stuff online, you still see the same old people moaning about the same old thing. But you do think there is a part of me that thinks, well, just don't watch it then.
There is that. Yeah.
That's what I did this time. Like
something and moan about stuff. But do you know what? No.
I mean, that's what I did this time. I didn't give it a go
I can only
at all.
think of one person that isn't involved in the Acolyte that is happy about the Acolyte, and that's Rian Johnson. Purely because he hasn't got the shittest thing in Star Wars now.
Oh, right. Oh, this is taking
He's sitting there going, yes, I'm not at the bottom of the pile anymore.
This is taking the mantle. But but something, Amber, that you said about these people that, you know, the fans do recognise that obviously the IP, they do care and they do. But the old Rings of Power Series 2 trailer, and I watched that and thought, it has Lord of the Rings in big letters spelt out before it, and none of it feels like Lord of the Rings. Not one.
It doesn't.
Iota.
No, it
There's
doesn't.
a great sense of humility and suffering for a cause in the Lord of the Rings, and I don't think that they brought that into the Rings of Power. And they were definitely channeling the Lord of the Rings feel more than the Hobbit feel. So I feel like they've just missed something. There's some greater themes that weren't very focused, and we had a character who was one-dimensional through 90% of the series, and it was just really unfortunate. It's just not focused, and I think that's the big thing that everybody agrees on, is that it felt like it was trying to tell too many stories, and then in the end it told not enough story because we didn't care about any of the characters. I mean, what the hell were the Harfoots even there for? And they're still in it. We're apparently still going to get Harfoots in season 2 because she wandered off with Gandalf. Like, they walked off together. So they're going to have an adventure, I guess. But at the same time, like, what is the point? And at this point, we should see how all these stories are connected. Instead, we've got familiar characters, and we go, oh, that's Elrond. Oh, that's Galadriel. I mean, that's Gandalf. But like, I couldn't tell you where this story is going. I have no investment in what's going to happen next.
They're only familiar characters by name, though, aren't they? They don't even feel like the characters that we know.
Yeah,
that's it.
You can't even see like, oh, okay, so that's just happened to him, so I can see how that shaped that character to become who we know. You can't even see that side of it.
Yeah, and I've tried really hard on my channel to look at Galadriel. I had 2 videos on Galadriel. One was where I just talked about her character in the show in episode 1. And then I did a live stream where I asked people to give me feedback on this. Like, let's talk about Galadriel. You know, what would we have to do to make her more like the Galadriel that we know? Because she is described in the Tolkien lore as having pride. But this feels like a very human, juvenile pride. And I think that with a 1,000-year-old entity, she should be wise enough to have a certain kind of pride where it's almost like you sort of feel like it's earned, like she should be proud, but it sometimes gets her in trouble with other people. It just felt like these elves are just people with pointy ears, humans with pointy ears. Like, and she's very immature. So her character just felt like, what are you, 17 years old, you know, rebelling against your daddy? It really felt like that. And I think that the only way they could bring it back is if they put her through the Theon Greyjoy treatment. Like, she has to suffer a lot. She has to be humiliated. She has to see other people suffering as a result of her decisions and recognize, I am the reason they are suffering. Then maybe we could kind of feel for her. But honestly, I don't know if enough people got through season 1 to care, like, that they'll even give season 2 a chance.
Yeah, how many out of us got through season 1? I got to like episode 4, maybe.
Yeah, no, I did get through season 1, but that was my hope for Galadriel. The Galadriel we got in season 1, that's the beginning of her journey to get to the Galadriel we got in Lord of the Rings, and the Galadriel we all know.
Yeah,
but I don't know. You know, I don't know if they're that smart. I'll be honest with you.
That's my fear, is that because at the end of the series, what happened was not really her fault, or it was not addressed as being she did this. It's just like it happened and she just didn't figure it out fast enough. Feeling it was like not really her fault that things went bad. And I'm like, I feel like they're dodging the opportunity here, you know, like they don't want to make her look like she's wrong. And this is a trend. We've all seen it in cinema and shows today, where they don't want the female lead protagonist to be wrong or humiliated in any way. And I'm feeling like this character really needs it. She needs to go through the crucible so she can come out as the beautiful silvery shiny gem that we have later on in the story. But Yeah.
So the trailer for season 2 is pretty much carrying on in the vein that season 1 was.
Seems like it. I honestly don't know what the hell. It sounds like
-1
Galadriel's the one
horse.
who's narrating. Like, I think he's been among us all along. Wait, you figured that out at the end of season 1. Why are you saying it now? I don't. Maybe it wasn't her character. I only watched the trailer twice, and I was like, whatever. The first time I watched it, I was like, this. It looked like a sci-fi channel. Like the special effects didn't even look good, but they might not be finished. Like I didn't know that they will put trailers out with unfinished special effects, but they will. So that could be it.
And I just thought it looked like you mentioned, Amber, you mentioned like the Hobbit films earlier, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it looked like that.
More like that. You know, like where the CGI and everything looks a little bit clean and I wouldn't say fake, but I just thought, oh, they
overused.
Get it. Yeah, they still don't get it. And they do this 360 rotation thing in the trailer where they go round.
I hate that. I hate that.
They go round our team. And instead of it being like in the films where you think, oh my God, yeah, we've got Aragorn, we've got the elf, we've got the dwarf, we've got the wizard, you know, all the classic thing. We think, oh, this looks awesome. Oh my God, they do the 360 around these 4 or 5 characters, and you think, oh, there's that idiot. Oh, there's oh, there he is. I'm not gonna go there. Right, I'm not gonna go there because I just thought they're doing this 360 around this team, and I thought, yeah,
it's very generic.
Go team.
Yeah.
But you could draw. When I used to play Dungeons and Dragons years ago, decades ago, I could have invented 5 better characters than that. And it would have been 1 wizard, 1 elf, 1 dwarf, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it would have just been me and my mates creating characters with pieces of paper. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. And I won't be going there. Same with Acolyte. My life is so much happier.
Isn't it a shame though? Like
it's a big shame.
Like we would have rushed to see a Star Wars show. I haven't even bothered watching Bad Batch season 3. I haven't watched the Acolyte. Just haven't bothered with Star Wars this year.
I mean, on the Lord of the Rings vein, I sent you all those photos from the first photos from the War of the Rohirrim. Did anybody actually look into it? I think that looks good. I've watched a few interviews with people that are working on it. It does look like it's going to be really, really good. So in Lord of the Rings, it just looks like that's the thing for this year.
Still holding out hope then?
I even more so now when the photos drop, purely because of details, and details matter. You know,
animation tends to have better storytelling than live action these days because it takes so much more work to create animation second by second that they really refine the script before they put it onto paper.
That's like we said before, Amber. Actually, you hit the nail on the head before when we was talking about it, where you know where it has to go through that gestation period, and then it has to go to committee, and then it has to go before they even put pen to paper. So you hope it's a bit more.
It usually is a little better. Usually,
with this again, because of the creative team on it, it's you know, there's a lot of people on this that were involved in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The main one being Philippa Boyens. You know, she's heading it all, and again, the details are important. So within those animation, those few shots that I sent you, you got Helm on his throne in the Great Hall. That is carrying on. That's Theoden's throne that we see in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
2 towers, same throne. It's again silly little things. The sword that Hera's holding, same sword. It's like little bits and pieces. They're trying to. I know the story is centered around Helm's unnamed daughter, and they've called her Hera or Hera. I can't remember how you pronounce it. It's Old English Hera, not Greek Hera. Right. But they're literally doing the thing that we've complained about lots. That we know this story. Don't do this again. Just sidestep slightly, and they've literally done that. There's a character that's unnamed in the appendices. We know nothing about her, so we're going to create a story about her and a character we know coming from characters that we already know.
The one thing I was worried about, though, was the blurb, though, sounds so much like Rings of Power. I'm just hoping that because we're not going to be centered on the elves, that we're going to be centered on men. There's a lot more opportunity for, the culture in Lord of the Rings of men can be, I think, a little bit more diverse than the elves because they're so old and they don't die. Their culture doesn't diverge from the core too much. But my fear was that you're just making Rings of Power again.
I honestly get the feeling, again, I'm not going to say anything direct, but I honestly get the feeling from watching some of the interviews that they've seen Rings of Power and gone, look what they're doing. We're going to go over there and do it properly.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah, they all watch that every day and they go, right, this is what we don't do, guys.
Yeah.
When you go for
the background art looks really good. Like that to me is a good way to judge an animation, is how much work do they put into the background, the detail, the background art. And it looks really good. Just even in those, is 3 or 4 frames that we got.
Yeah, little 4 shots. Yeah.
They look nice. We don't get a whole lot, but what I saw, I'm going, okay, they're not just putting a, quickly throw a backdrop on there, like get our computer to make something. It looks like they're hand drawn and hand painted. So that's nice.
It was a little bit manga-esque.
It is.
Yes,
it is. Yeah, it is.
Which did throw me off a bit. It threw me off when you sent them through, Taters. I've got to admit, when I first saw them, I thought, I love the manga, but
yeah,
I don't. It was unexpected, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and it's whatever that artistic team, is going to do with that style. If it's going to make sense with the action and stuff like, I'm on for it. But,
absolutely,
being able to nailing the look of masculine men is the challenge in anime and manga style. And just from the 2 shots that we have of the men, I only remember 2. There's the one on the king. Like I actually just pulled it up. There's like 3 men sitting on the throne. One of them on the throne. They look masculine. Like they look like masculine men. They don't, and there's a slightly more effeminate man on the far right. So I'm guessing much younger, probably a softer character. But the men don't look bizarre. They look like masculine men, and that's a thing in Lord of the Rings also is, an exploration of masculine leadership, but also to have that figure with compassion. So I like this. I think it looks good. I was a little wary about the anime look because I didn't want everybody to look like an anime character, but with the pictures of the men that we have, I was like, okay, that's good. Like I love anime. I really do. I like it a lot, but I wanted to see a really unique style come out for this. And I felt like, oh no, the girl looks just like every other anime character, but the guys look okay. So
yes, a bit like with Arcane, which I know that none of you have ever watched, but
I watched.
Series, the art style in that. Oh, well done.
Hey. Yeah, I watched.
Someone watched it. Yay!
I had a whole viewing party. My patrons.
I'm sure Liz watched it. No, didn't you?
What's that?
I said, I'm sure Liz watched it as well. Was he gone to sleep?
No, I watched it.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
He's gone into hibernation.
That's it.
Floating in space.
It's this hot weather. He's basking. He's just like...
he's in the sun with his legs up like that. But no, so series 2. Oh, yes. And series 2 of Arcane, they're finishing it off. Yes.
Oh, wicked.
Music to my ears.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just give me, if you can give me more series 1.
I mean, the other anime that I'm really looking forward to.
The
other anime I'm really looking forward to is Terminator 0.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Or maybe I forgot.
I haven't heard about that one.
I didn't know about that.
It's going to be on Netflix. It's that they haven't even put a date up yet. It still says 2024. They don't know when it's coming out, but it's
2024.
I haven't seen any artwork yet. All I've heard is people talking about it, and it just looks like it's
official trailer released 4 days ago.
Right, we might have to pause this.
Do you want me to? I could share it if you want.
Yeah, share it.
Okay.
Do that.
We'll save that one for the next one.
I'll share it.
Where is?
We'll
I know
the
there's a share
live.
screen
I'll
option
get a
on
copyright.
here.
Oh, come on now. But I'll get a copyright strike now.
Oh yeah, wait. Actually, we won't. We won't do it for that reason.
Unless we'll go away and then.
You would get it would be a copyright strike. I think that would be bad.
Can't be bothered with all that.
Host has disabled participant screen sharing. That's you. You've disabled it on your end.
Let's not talk about disabilities, guys, at my age. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to
Well,
fight.
we'll talk about it on the next one then. So
Okay.
that'll
The
be
animation,
just before Christmas,
looks-
I imagine.
just so you know, I'm looking at just some little stills. Looks
Yeah.
good.
Is it good?
Awesome.
I
Should
think
We've all got to
Netflix
look
is
there, haven't we?
really.
Should I
Net-
get out?
You can wipe this.
While we all watch the trailer.
Netflix has done some really interesting things with animation. They are
What's it
pushing
called?
their
Terminator
animation
Zero?
department.
Terminator
Yeah, it's called
Zero, yeah,
Terminator Zero,
Netflix.
yeah.
I'm just sorry that I didn't like text everyone earlier on to say what do you want to talk about so we could all look at this kind of stuff earlier on.
Well, I didn't know about this
It
one.
just
right?
it comes up. It's free flowing. Shut up.
Fucking free flowing.
that
Free flowing, you couldn't be bothered.
animation looks quite cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
No, I immediately don't want to
Turn
like
that
it.
down.
Now you've surprised us all with this, Taters. I don't want to like it.
I mean, I'm not listening to the audio, but it looks good. Lots of detail in what's in the foreground, like the characters that are being animated have a lot of physical detail.
This is
That's
like,
hard to
this
do.
is-
It does
this-
not look like
yeah.
it's been computer generated. Like some of the background stuff looks a
It
little
does-
bit,
does-
but
does
it's
look good,
nice.
actually, yeah.
Looks like 2D animation. It looks nice.
This is like one of those reaction videos that those idiots do. What are them idiots that do? It's three of them. They all go, "Oh my god, it's so great!" You know, when some Star Wars idiot. Who is it? Anyway,
I'm excited about Netflix's animation stuff. I think that they're really trying to develop their own animated studio, and it's 2D animation. Like they're not shying away from that. And there's a lot of outcry from people who are missing that today. So we want more traditional 2D animation. There's something so fluid and extraordinary about 2D animation that still to this day CGI can't do it.
No, you're right. Yeah, and that looks really nice, actually.
That
Mhm.
does look great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that does look really nice. I'll put a little picture of it up. When
Cool.
I won't even do that.
Like I say, up until watching this now, all I've done is listen to people that worked on it talk about it, like in interviews,
Yeah.
and I was excited for it. Now I've just seen that.
But Amber,
August 29th.
you did have a contact or two over at Netflix. Are they still?
I do. My contact is super busy because I think I'm trying not to drop hints about who it is, but the 3 of their shows were the #1 in the world, and they're all between seasons, like starting their next season right now.
Awesome.
So at the same time, basically. So it's kind of I keep like
And it's all
in
the stuff we love.
contact. Yeah, it is the stuff that we all like. So it sounds like everything's going really well. Just it's an insanely busy time, and this person tries to really be involved in all these projects, not take on too much stuff, but it's like this is the max. Like I've got too many right now, so I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of waiting in the
That's
curtains.
quite a
like,
juggling act, that isn't it?
do you want to tell me the gossip?
They still haven't given you the job you deserve, Amber. Come on.
No.
Oh, I would
that's-
love to work for Netflix. I would love to
Oh,
do storytelling stuff.
Some work over there, don't they? Come on.
I thought you'd be running the show by now.
Get this woman.
Yeah, I get
some-
a lot of people in my comments asking like, "Did you get hired?" I'm like, "No, they want
yeah.
to. I'm here." I totally would pack up and move to California like right now if I got asked.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it really long and really hard. Yeah. As soon as the offer comes in, I'm like, your case is packed.
On the way. Buy new clothes.
Has anyone, just as a random thought, has anyone watched House of Dragons season 2 yet?
No.
I want to wait for all of it to come out, and now it's all out now, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't.
Or
To
there's
be
there
honest,
one-
I missed the fact that it was out, but I've seen a couple of like teasers regarding
It's getting-
what happens in some of the episodes. So
It's getting good reviews except for one character. The
okay,
the blonde guy, I guess they're like, what the heck happened? He's not the character we want. Like, so I'm gonna wait till the whole thing comes out because I know
Yeah.
if I like it, I'll binge it and I'll be
yeah, I
ticked
was
off
thinking
if
of doing
there's-
the same thing. To
So,
be fair,
yeah.
Yeah, because
Mm.
I don't know, out of us 4, I think I was the only one that didn't get through series 1, wasn't I? I couldn't
I
do
think
it.
so.
It's
House of Dragon.
Yeah.
I didn't get through it either.
No, I'm not saying.
It's a lot more boring than Game of Thrones for sure. And I think it's because the characters are less focused. They're less distilled. Like if you go to Game of Thrones, the earlier seasons, you could easily pick out like, oh, that's something Tyrion would say, or oh, this is an Arya moment, or this is Ned Stark. Like they have very distinct characteristics and
Right.
their own goals are very focused. Here, in House of the Dragon, I was kind of lost as to what the hell our main protagonist's goal was. And I didn't know. I was like, okay, so you're trying to take over what your father's mission was, or are you trying to live your own life? It just felt like it was kind of vague. And the characters all sort of felt like the same people. If I was like, where is our unique standout? So, and I think that's why people liked the uncle character with the blonde hair. I don't remember what his name was, but they liked him because he was a bit of an antagonist, but he was on the protagonist side. So he was kind of pushing people's buttons and causing trouble.
Do you think it comes across, Amber, as the people that are writing these particularly the characters, but also the situations? Do you find that they're written by people that, and there's nothing wrong with this because you can use, as SpongeBob says, you can use your imagination, but it does come across. It's written by people that have been nowhere and done nothing, and they haven't met anyone other than their parent, their immediate family, and a couple of friends from school. They've never met the bastard man. They've never met the slut woman. They've never met this, that, and the characters. The richness of the characters that you want in a Game of Thrones. Like you want, I mean, you obviously need an imagination to write your who was the little fella, what's his name? And you need imagination to write this rich fantasy landscape. But at the end of the day, these characters, do you think, my question is, do you think these people are so young and inexperienced now? That's why we're getting such a generic grey or beige set of characters that just they've got nothing about them. You watch something like what was it? Slow Horses. You watch something like that, and I know it's based on books, but it's based on adult writers and adults that have done something with their life.
Mm-hmm.
You can really tell there's a bunch of rich characters here and they're enjoying themselves. Whereas you start with the Disney stuff and this Game of Thrones, House of Dragon and all that. It's different from what old Martin wrote, because at least that bloke, he'd obviously been about because he'd invented all these characters. But what do you think there's anything about that? Or
I think there is, but I also think that it's potentially whereas in Game of Thrones, the characters are written in the books, whereas this is essentially a history of what happened. As far as I'm aware, I don't think he actually wrote down anything apart from almost like bullet pointing what happened in the history of Westeros. Like, other than that, I don't think he did anything else. So I think it's just a list. So I kind of think they've had to kind of elaborate on these characters, and actually fill in the gaps themselves.
But that's my question. Like, so do we think that these writers just can't? Where's the?
I think you're right.
Richness is there? There's no.
I almost feel like you've got people who I have no idea what the writer's room looks like, but to me it feels like these are people who would typically be writing for a contemporary audience or contemporary shows, but now they're doing fantasy and science fiction and stuff like this. And the thing is, you don't get as diverse a cast of characters in contemporary entertainment as frequently as you do in fantasy. So in fantasy and science fiction, we really, especially fantasy, we want to see that you've got characters that fulfill specific roles. This dives back into very old storytelling tropes. And it's not bad to follow tropes. It's not bad to have characters who fit archetypes. That's a guideline for showing you this is how you can create tension within your group, but also camaraderie. The Lord of the Rings is famous for many reasons, but one of them is that you have this really unusual cast of characters all put together. they have conflict with each other, but they also manage to form sort of a brotherhood, the fellowship. And the Game of Thrones did something very similar, except they were all enemies. They were pretending to be friends, but they were really enemies. And it's interesting to see this because it adds tension and drama to just conversations. How many conversations in the first 3 Game of Thrones seasons were life and death situations where you're like hooked because you're like, how is this going to go? Because whatever happens in this conversation, someone's going to die from it. It's interesting to watch, and I didn't get that feeling in House of the Dragon season 1 ever.
There's no kind of like moment where, oh, what's his name? He's eating his chicken, and he says, "Where's my fucking chicken?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm gonna, if I don't get that, I'll forget it now. But like, where's my chicken? He was such a good actor as well. But to write that, I mean, I don't know if that was in any of the books, but
but that kind of language was in the books where you had conversations that were intense like this, and it's fun. But see, that's like a prelude to an actual physical fight. But there was politics happening just between the houses, like when Lady Stark would get a message from her sister or her cousin, I can't remember who it was, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's convinced her husband was assassinated, and then it's like, but at the same time, the person she thinks assassinated her husband is now asking my husband to go and take her old husband's job. And it's like, that's intense stuff. And then you get to the sister and you realize she's crazy. She just wants to like breastfeed her 12-year-old child and then have bad guys thrown out the window. Like these are such unique characters. You put them in situations like, if you take the crazy sister who's a conspiracy theorist and like, and also has a very violent, revenge streak in her, throw her in with the noble mother who's trying to save her husband and children. And she's asking her for help. And what kind of chaos comes from that,
Yes, there's a richness. There's a richness.
I think you hit the nail on the head with one bit there, though. You said about all the different houses. So in House of the Dragon, it's essentially the same house and 2 sides of that house. Whereas Game of Thrones, you had all these different houses and you had no idea at the beginning which one was going to end up on top. It was a massive chess game. Whereas this is, there's 2 sides are just going to go at each other. And that's
I still
pretty
think
much
that
all
there's
it
things you
feels
could
like.
do with this. You could still do it with this, but you have to have a
Oh,
diversity
easily.
of characters. I didn't feel like they had that. I felt like they all had the same goal. They all had the same method for getting to their goal. And I'm speaking very general. Obviously, there were some little, differences, but not enough that I was like, I could tell. I can't even remember the names of any of the characters because I was not hooked on any one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that just touching upon there, where it's essentially the same house as well. That's why you haven't got the different types of characters. All the Targaryens appear the same, apart from one that seems a bit more nutty than the others. But other than that, they all appear the same. Whereas in Game of Thrones, you had all the different houses, all the different sort of styles of warfare fighting, all the infighting as well. With that, it allowed for a much richer show. Whereas this is, I think that's why it potentially feels more bland.
Yeah, I think you've kind of, you've struck something quite fundamental there that I hadn't thought about. And again, the richness of it, the richness of the characters and the different houses and cramming it all in. Do you remember when it was all crammed in?
Yeah.
Each episode just seemed like, well, or not every single episode was knocking it out of the park, but it just felt like, oh my God, I can't wait. And I remember with the first Game of Thrones, I used to rewatch because was it only 6 episodes or was it 8? Like say Game of Thrones.
It was originally 10.
But I used to rewatch before series 2. By the time they was advertising series 2 to come out, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch series 1 again. And I've never done that with any other show except that. Every time up until about series 5. By that time, it takes you like 3 months to watch everything. But I used to rewatch it just to kind of. There was no way you could recap it. There's no.
I feel like it was season 8.
It was 10 episodes, season 1.
Yeah.
But I still watch Game of Thrones the earlier seasons because it's great. Like the tension in, like I said, even in the mundane scenes where people are just having conversations is so interesting. Watching these characters butt heads and seeing them realize I've made a huge mistake by coming here to talk to this person, and watching it still play out. I love that sort of thing. They really made every moment feel important.
Yeah. No, it was very, very well done. I mean, the first, should we say for sure, the first 5 series.
I'd push it up to 6, because
Yeah.
season 6 you had Battle of the Bastards, and you had the
Yeah, that was good too.
you had that
And it
sort
was-
of stuff happening.
I believe it was beyond season 6. 7 and 8 were without any guidance
They
from
would have made up ones, wouldn't
the writer. Yeah.
they? Yeah. Mm.
It shows.
Never watched 8.
You never-
Oh, you never did? You know what? I liked the Battle of Winterfell, but once it ended, I was like, wait a minute. Only
Didn't
one
they forget the
person
lighting
died?
team? Didn't they forget the lighting team?
Yeah, they've got the
season 8?
lighting team.
They didn't have a budget for lights.
To be
Oh,
fair,
well,
you're
little match.
right there, Amber. To be fair, you're right. With the Battle of Winterfell, if they had lit it correctly and gave us the Jon Snow Night King showdown that we all wanted, I think that would have been a good episode, to be fair.
Yeah.
You can still have it play out the same way at the end,
Dark.
but just give us that fight. Just give us that fight between Jon Snow and the Night King.
My brother pointed out something that I have to agree. He has the best rewrite of this series. He says, should have had all these armies at Winterfell ready to go. Like, we know the Night King and the White Walkers are coming. We know they're coming. So they're like, getting ready. And they never come because they bypass Winterfell and they go straight to King's Landing, wipe out King's Landing. Everybody there is dead. Then you've got this enemy has, you'll have also familiar characters who are now zombies, which would be great.
Yeah.
You've got an enemy that has literally destroyed who we thought was going to be the big army. Like, okay, man versus man. It's going to be the lady over in, I can't remember, Cersei, is that her name? Whatever, over in King's Landing. They're done. And then you've got all the people in Winterfell going, oh shit, we are all that's left. Like, it's just us. And they just wiped out the people we were really worried about. And now it's just us. And then you could have that final battle then. Like, to me, that was a final battle. I didn't care at all about the Iron Throne when we had the existence of humanity at stake 2 episodes before. I was like, who cares who wins the Iron Throne? You guys just saved humanity. Like, just don't attack.
Exactly.
Wait till you're all healed and ready to go. Then go get the Iron Throne if that's what you really want. But like, just relax. Putting the bigger battle first and then the less important one second, I think was a big mistake.
Very big mistake. And as well, so it's like at the end when old John gets rid of Khaleesi, the dragon just goes mental, burns the throne for no reason and buggers off. It's like, well, just move John slightly to the right, have him stand in front of the throne, so the dragon tries to kill John with fire, but the throne melts around him and he can't burn because he's a Targaryen. Done.
Kind of like that.
Makes sense on that bit. But again, have that change the order of the show around. So like you say, the big battle was at the end. And yeah, the whole Night King thing that had been built up for years just came to an end for no reason. It just was a really disappointing end. You could have still had it with Arya taking out the Night King, but have the fight with Jon Snow first.
Yeah.
Make it epic. And just to completely avoid that was, quite disappointing.
And that would make sense that the 2 of them are fighting the Night King because they had that bond from the very beginning that, Jon Snow gave her the sword, that started her on her path to becoming a warrior. But they also drove Daenerys insane so quickly. It didn't feel earned at all. We didn't see that. I'm sorry. That was not earned. That should have been coming on slowly. And then I think more should have happened. Like, oh, she finally reaches King's Landing and that triggers her. That's it. You've reached King's Landing. You're looking at the palace, and that's your trigger. Like, we should have had something more extreme happen. I think
her friend got executed in front of her. Let's not forget that. No, it's not like nothing else has ever happened to her for her whole life. Do you know what I mean? It's just that one thing. When she sees King's Landing and does that, it was pathetic.
I think that they should have. King's Landing gets wiped out, and then we have the last battle at Winterfell. And then we see Daenerys arriving at King's Landing with Jon Snow, and like, we're gonna rebuild the kingdom. And it's like, this place is shit. Like, it's all gone to hell. Like, that's what they were fighting for this whole time. You know, at first it was a battle for, because I would have given it some meaning too. It was a battle for the throne, and then it became a battle for the existence of humanity. So then they're seeing like what a stupid war we were fighting, you know, trying to win this dumb throne. And I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, and it would have resonated, wouldn't it, if it was for the survival of humanity? You know, it resonated a little bit more. You know, you can't get much more stakes than that kind of thing.
It would have been a bittersweet ending because the good guys would have won. I mean, Jon Snow was the only one who deserved to win the Game of Thrones. And then if Daenerys didn't go insane, she would have too. You could have had the two of them have won the war. They've saved humanity, but humanity is in shambles. Like we're at the end. Like, so they're basically here to rebuild humanity instead of rule over it, if that makes sense. And that's like a bittersweet sort of end.
What do we think about the actors and actresses that are playing all these roles? Like, so let's keep it to House of Dragon, whatever it's called. But I thought Game of Thrones found such a cast of old hands, some new faces, you know, some young kids. What are we thinking? Apart from old Blondie in the first, who I really did enjoy, old Doctor Who in the first one, and I thought he revelled in that role.
Him and the King.
In it. But other than that, I don't know. What are we thinking about the acting ability of? Well, let's say House of Dragon. So I'll throw it out to you three. House of Dragon, but also Rings of Power, because particularly Rings of Power, I think they're really poor actors. I do, and I don't know where they get them from. I honestly don't anymore. I don't know.
I would agree with Rings of Power. I think House of the Dragon, it's just the fact that they're all essentially playing similar characters. Whereas, like, for example, the King in season 1, I thought he was awesome, especially his last episode in House of Dragon.
That was the British actor, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is, but I thought he was awesome.
Very well known, yeah.
And Matt Smith was awesome, but everyone else essentially was the same. There was even you see him grow up through the first season. He ends up with an eye patch, and he essentially is another version of Matt Smith. He's just a bit of a crazy Targaryen. That's all he is. But yeah, it's just I think it's just because they're all playing the same. I don't necessarily think they're bad actors or actresses in House of Dragon, but they're not given anything juicy enough apart from the slightly crazy ones.
There's not a lot for them to play with, kind of thing. It's like
yeah. Whereas Rings of Power, there's definitely nothing for them to play with, and I think they're bad actors as well. It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Rings of Power, it's really hard to tell what the capability of the actors are because they have created very stale characters too, and the dialogue is not good. The directing, I don't feel like the directing is very good. So for me, it's hard for me to tell if this is poor acting. Like, is it just that the actors weren't capable of doing anything else? But at the same time, I see that the pattern in the writing is bad from episode 1 all the way to the final episode of season 1. Not just the storytelling, but the dialogue itself is just, it's kind of cringe in some areas.
Yeah.
And I'm going, is this bad acting, or is this literally just a script that is so bad it's giving them nothing to work with? And then the directing, it's like they're trying to capture what Peter Jackson did, but it's like they're giving us the kitschy version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, in Rings of Power, even the horses look like bad actors. Do you know what I mean? It's not
horses.
like it's not good.
2 actors, one at the front, one at the back. That's not actually real horses.
Yeah.
Well, they can't use real horses anymore, do they? The horse died.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Oh my God.
I wonder if there's going to be an RIP for the horse at the end, in loving memory of the horse at the end of the first
memory,
episode of season 2.
Yeah, 2012 to 2000 and whatever it was. Never mind. So that's all the fantasy. I mean, that's all the fantasy stuff out of the way. Sci-fi. I mean, on my list, I've got no upcoming sci-fi. I know Tate has mentioned Terminator 0, because obviously June 2 was the biggie.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about, is there? I know we can't.
Sci-fi wise.
Isn't there that Alien series coming out soon?
Alien Romulus, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Live action?
Yeah, live action. Did you watch the trailer? We did watch the trailer.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah,
it
the
last
trailer
time.
looked all right.
So there's been a couple of more trailers, I think, since the first one that we saw.
Yeah.
I've forgotten all
And
about it.
you said, Hog, you said you thought it reminded you of Alien, and I said I thought it reminded me of Aliens, and apparently it's slap bang in the middle of the two.
Ah, yes,
So-
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's jarred my old memory now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Taters. It's jarred my old memory, and it was where you had that kind of last shot of. It was kind of going through the halls, wasn't it? There was blood splattered kind of corridors and stuff. The original trailer.
Yeah.
That's what reminded me of the first film. So, well, I suppose we can wait and see. But no, I'm up for that. I mean, I've got a soft spot for the.
Yeah, I mean, it does look really good. Even the more updated trailers, like I say, it is. You can see the timeline. It is slap bang between the two that we already know.
Nice.
And it looks like it's done right. So it's definitely a positive. Something to look forward to. But out of sci-fi that we got coming up, Time Bandits. I know that's coming.
Ah,
Time Bandits. But I'm just gonna say it out loud.
It's your mate.
You take your Time Bandits, whether it's a reboot, a remake, a sequel, you take it and you shove it where the sun doesn't shine. There is no need for it. Just create something.
I agree. There is no need for it. There is absolutely no need for it.
Create something new. My God.
They're doing it. They're doing it over and over again. Aren't they? Oh, I'll tell you the other sci-fi that's coming up. Tron Ares.
what?
Tron. They're
Does
making another
Disney-
Tron movie. I can't remember the synopsis of the bloody film now. No, it's
I
gone.
didn't know there was
I know
another
it's Jared Leto. Other than that, I can't remember anything else.
Yay.
Oh.
Yay, Jared Leto. Yeah, because he hasn't fucked up his last few roles at all.
No, we like seeing him in a sci-fi. Yeah.
Tron Uprising. Is that what you're talking about?
Wonder what you was going to say there.
I'm sure it was. Was
Tron
it Ares? Tron Ares? It might be.
Oh, it's an animation. Is it an animation? No, I'm.
Commentators.
You might be. Hang on. Bear with me. Let's have a quick butch.
Fact checking.
What properly does he, Liz?
Oh, shut up.
No, just fact checking again, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Here we go. Tron Ares. I see it.
You got it? All right, there we go. Amber's on it.
Create a cohesive podcast. I ask you to do specific things. I give you homework.
Even this shit just pops up while we're talking.
I did the stuff on the list.
You never do your homework, Taters. Right?
Yeah, we haven't really stuck to this though, to be fair, have we?
We're just cobbling this together.
Well,
on the hoof.
Yeah.
I was out of it for so long. I hadn't watched anything. I hadn't looked at anything. And I had a whole day off to myself. No kids, no partner, no nothing. And I was just online looking into everything that we got coming up. There's so much coming up. And most of it is shit.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I felt like the build up to this hogCAST, I was feeling like I've been off the grid.
Yeah.
Like, what have I been doing?
Another thing we got coming, Smurfs the musical. That's coming.
Yes, we're not tall, but we are small.
We got Smurfs the musical.
From
the one thing I am looking forward to as well is Spinal Tap 2. That's coming out.
Oh yeah,
That I think that'll be a crack. It's coming out for the 40th anniversary.
But did we need it?
No, we don't need it, but did we need the first one? We didn't need it, but it's fucking brilliant.
How do you fuck that up? That's got big study.
It's the same people. So it's the same people.
Yeah, so could be good.
Yeah.
Must admit, there's only one thing I'm looking forward to:
Go on.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Did you see the latest trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I think they're going to nail it with that.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much I'm saying that because we
did you see the ketchup and mustard trailer that they did as well?
No,
They've just been doing loads of random things.
Oh,
So there's basically they're doing is a normal trailer, and Ryan Reynolds is like being Ryan Reynolds, but there's like loads of like quick subliminal, like over Deadpool is a bottle of ketchup and subliminally over Wolverine is a bottle of mustard. And he's like, "Come on, guys, we're going to get copyrighted here. It's really bad product placement. Really bad product placement."
But that is such a modern way. I mean, and Ryan Reynolds has done it before, hasn't he? With the first two films. But what a modern way to promote your film. It's almost, I know it's it's becoming an overused term, but it's quite a meta way where you're listening to the actor who's telling you about the role he's playing, and the character's talking about, he's talking like the actor.
Yeah.
What
would you see in the background as well of when they're in like this like snowscape in the background? So you've got Wolverine, there's a little clip of him up against Sabretooth, but in the background in the ruins is a big 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it just looks like it's going to rip the shit out of the whole lot.
I'm looking forward to that, and I hope it's a bit like, and I think Tayters mentioned it before, a little bit like, you know, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe kind of thing.
That was Liz. Liz was basically saying if he comes in and he just totally destroys the multiverse, that would be hilarious. Yeah, absolutely, and I can see that happening.
I can see it happening as well.
Yeah,
please do it. And there's going to be, there's going to be some surprise fanboy cameos in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a good. I think that is going to be. I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I mean, when was the last one? I don't know what the last Marvel movie. Like, me and Luke are actually looking forward to. Like, yeah, let's go and see it. Not necessarily first day or midnight show.
Probably Avengers Endgame, to be fair. The last one I was excited about.
The last one I actually wanted to go and see was Spider-Man. The third Spider-Man with Tom Holland. That was the last one that I actually wanted to go and see at the cinema.
What was that? On His Way Home, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. We're old now.
Old now.
Sorry, Liz, did you say there is another Avengers movie coming out though, right? There is another one.
There will be at some point. There's rumors that the Russos are back in talks to do Avengers 5 and 6.
Yeah,
it's too late. It's too late. It's what are they going to do? They're going to polish a turd. It's too late.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
2029 and 2032, isn't it? It's like
something like that, yeah. But like I say, I'm just up for Deadpool and Wolverine. I just want him to rip the shit out of the Marvel universe, destroy the multiverse, reset everything to a degree, and just go from there.
So come on, let's keep it Marvel, guys. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. What about Brave New World?
The only thing in that Captain America, that I really clicked on was that last final scene with Red Hulk. That was the only bit about that. I was like, ooh,
boring.
Harrison Ford literally says in the trailer, "You're not Steve Rogers."
Yeah, I know.
It's just like,
yeah,
where's he in it?
But they're doubling down.
Yeah, it just does. I'm not interested.
They're doubling down on him being a non-superhero sidekick that has taken up the mantle. And it's, when you do films of sidekicks, this is where I am with it. He was a great sidekick. Andrew McKay, good actor. There was a good connection.
Who's Andrew McKay?
Who's Andrew McKay?
Mackay. Is that
Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, that's it. Anthony Mackie. You knew what I meant.
Andrew McKay.
Potatoes. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Whatever his name is, right? You knew what I meant, because we're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and all that. So you must have known.
That's the thing is.
Did that confuse you when I got his name wrong, his surname wrong? Did it? Anyway, really good sidekick.
Yeah.
He was a great Falcon.
Yeah. And now they've decided to make him the main attraction.
Right. So again,
my problem is
you're going to know. In the comic, he did get this shield, didn't he? At some point in the comic, and he didn't know it for very long
after Bucky, before Steve Rogers came back.
Yeah, there will be. the trouble is in books and comics and that you can go from month to month,
Yeah.
year to year, and you can weave
Yeah.
all different stories. But to make one single story, no, I don't know.
No, you don't
But-
think trying to stretch it out for him giving the shield back.
And I like no. I mean,
Well, there's rumours of Chris Evans coming back as Captain America, isn't it, for a limited series? Have you heard that?
No.
So there's rumours of him coming back for a
okay,
limited
fine.
series where you follow him putting the Infinity Stones back
why can't
through
they
time.
just a modern actor, like a youngish actor? You
Well,
know,
my problem is
not nostalgic.
my problem's that it happens in so many different comic books. Is that actually just handing over the mantle in the
Well,
first place?
They
I
hinted.
think once a character is done, they're done.
They
Yeah.
hinted at Steve
Don't pass
Rogers.
it on.
They hinted at Steve Rogers. More adventures of Steve Rogers in Black Widow, didn't they? When I can't remember the bloody actor's name now. The guy from Stranger Things.
David Harbour.
Yes, and he's talking to he's in the prison talking to the guy, and he said, "No, I fought Captain America in 1985." And it was like, "No, he was frozen." It was like, They did sort of like put that
Yeah.
little bit of yeah. So I'm
But yeah,
wondering, if
apparently it's going to be him putting the Infinity Stones back potentially, which don't really need to see that. But I say when you hand over the mantle, you're instant. All they're doing is wearing the costume of that superhero. They're not that superhero. What makes that superhero is the person wearing that uniform. So,
Exactly.
for example, we all fell in love with Steve Rogers. It's Steve Rogers that makes Captain America. When you try and change that, it's not Captain America anymore. And it's the same with Batman. It's the same with Superman. It's the same with all the other characters. I can't think of one character where it worked, where the
Miles Morales.
person that took
Spider-Man.
over.
Miles Morales.
Yeah,
But
Miles
it's
Morales.
but it's still
People
not better
like
than
them.
Peter Parker.
No.
I never said he's better than Peter Parker. I think he's just as good as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But that's my point. I don't think there's ever been someone taking up the mantle that's better than the original. I can't think of one.
No,
I don't think it has to be, but it should be just as good in its own way. And I think that that's a problem when we see that they're not as good. Like if you don't have somebody spectacular to take over the role, it'll never be as good as the first one. But if they're not still like really good, like just as good, it's going to be disappointing no matter what.
Well, a bit like we're talking about a minute ago, talking about Wolverine and Deadpool, who is going to fill Hugh Jackman's boots? Who is going to do Wolverine after that?
I'm still calling Cavill.
Wow, it's going to take some doing. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I think
it will.
Cavill would be the only one who could do it. I think he's a iconic, rugged enough character on his own, and he's a geek enough that he's going to love the role. I think he would do it well.
He's such a perfect fit that there's no way they're going to give it to him.
Well, not if Disney is still in charge, yeah.
Okay, but see, like, let me think about this though. Like, okay, so Henry Cavill, he's one of those people in Hollywood who is a geek. He is the guy who knows the lore. He's the one who knows all of this stuff. And yet we know that he was kind of pushed out of some of these roles where he was like really fighting for sticking to the lore, making sure that the characters are who they're supposed to be, because it would disappoint the fans because he's one of the fans. And yet he was pushed out. And I feel like there's a mentality right now in all of Hollywood where they want to change what is already established as a fandom. Like they want to bring in different people. And we're going, then you're not really making movies for the fandom. Like the people who want these movies, you're making stuff that they don't want. You're making it for a new audience that does not exist yet. And you're still putting out crap. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just had to say this thing about Henry Cavill.
It's the catch-all approach. Let's try and get as big an audience as possible instead of focusing on those that you've got already, essentially.
Yeah, and it's the algorithm. It's the algorithm for the investors that has to be fed in.
Yeah.
Right. What do we churn out the other end? If we want your hundreds and hundreds of millions, and that is the problem, essentially, really. You know, the budgets of these films has gone crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the algorithm feeds in, and what gets spat out the other end. I know I'm really overgeneralizing it, but it literally is a paint by numbers. And what comes out the other end, you don't want a Cavill involved going, well, oh, you know, that didn't happen in the game, or that didn't happen in the comic, or that didn't happen in the book. you don't want this pesky actor, as good as he is and as handsome as he is, you don't want him going, oh, you know, that ain't right. No, just say your lines, mate. And because the algorithm told us that this script would get us this return.
Yeah, because if you do that, you end up with a Ryan Reynolds type character who knows Deadpool inside out, coming out with three movies that work.
He's had to have this fight with Marvel, hasn't he, and Disney. He's had to
To be fair, I liked it at the end of the first trailer when he said, right, Kevin Feige's given us a list. We can't do Coke, but I really want to do Coke. I'm amazed they've given him what seems like control.
But like Hog just said, it's that counts.
And
yeah, I think they can't deny that he knows what he's doing, and he's put out 2 huge hits. In the end, I think the money will win. What's making the most money is going to come out on top. That's why I don't think that this trend of unsuccessful filmmaking is going to last very long, because people will gravitate towards the stuff that's good.
Yeah, it can't. I mean, fingers crossed. It does look good. Ryan Reynolds and he's had to fight. Yeah, he hasn't been.
Yes, it hasn't been a smooth.
Has had to kind of deals in a little bit and go, no. And we'll only find out all the true stories once the film's been released and a year later.
Yeah,
what he really had to do. And again, it's just all he's done is stick to the IP, which Amber said an hour ago. Why can't they do it? Why can't any of them stick to what makes it a popular book? What makes it? And I know we've lamented this for for a couple of years now. Whatever's made it a good manga, a good comic, a good book, a good animated series.
Yeah,
stick to that, and you can't go far wrong, can you? Because whatever you've just purchased, or you purchased the rights or the license to make the film or the TV series, and the first thing you do is say, we know better, we're going to change all that. I've never understood it.
No. I don't think you can understand it. It's arrogance.
Yeah. I'd understand more if they just made a carbon copy of, like, when old Zach did Watchmen.
Yeah, page for page, panel for panel.
A carbon copy of the graphic novel. But I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that's a bit extreme. You want an adaptation, whether it's a TV series, you want an adaptation of a book. And there's plenty of good examples, but I don't know, it's just dropped off that cliff, hasn't it, in recent years?
But isn't this the first film or anything Marvel related that's come out this year?
Yeah, and it's the only one.
Well, we got Agatha, haven't we? But we'll talk about that in a minute.
I've never heard of that before, and I watched that trailer going, what the hell is this really part of the Marvel universe?
She was the bad guy in WandaVision.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was a bad guy, to be fair. She wasn't great in that, to be honest. But it just shows that there was let's just forget about Agatha for a second.
Yes, please.
I wonder. Don't get me wrong. I think there would have been a hype for Deadpool and Wolverine, but the fact we've had no other Marvel content all year building up to it, is that what's built the hype a little bit more? That bit of a break.
Yeah, you're right there, Liz. Yeah, you're
possibly.
right.
Yeah, possibly. Or it is just a case of this actually looks good.
It feels, I think elements of both of that, Liz and Tate. It feels special because it's only one. And also, they're backing it up with a decent film. Like, it's a load of crap that, they're just churning out. So, yeah, there's a lot. I think for the future of Marvel, a lot riding on that.
Yeah, I think there is. And it depends how brave they've been with. I think people want to see Ryan Reynolds just roast Disney to a degree, and from the trailers, there's been a few bits in that have shown that that's what's going to happen.
I mean, X-Men animated went down well. X-Men '97, the latest show. I mean, I haven't seen anyone moaning and groaning about that. That went down well. Followed it up with the comic. So, are they turning a corner?
No, because Agatha's coming out.
Except for Agatha. Let's not.
Yeah, they turn the corner a bit too quickly and boom.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Agatha because I like we're riding a wave of positivity here. Like, yay, come on, guys. There's good shit coming out. There's good shit on the horizon.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice 2, yes.
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 It just
I mean-
it's so on par with the original, isn't it? It's like literally all the old school are back.
And going back to what I said earlier, did we need it? No.
No, but do you want it? Yeah.
If it's Tim Burton back and if it's Michael Keaton back, and they've got what's the name from Wednesday, and they've got what's the name from the original film?
Winona Ryder.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the original cast are back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the ginger bird. Yeah, come on. Love
Is
it.
he still ginger?
Is she? Yes. Yeah.
They haven't swapped out the ginger.
Not even a hint of grey. I think L'Oreal are going to have a field day with marketing because she still looks proper ginger red.
It looks really good. It does look like it is. Yeah, looks like it's spot on. I'm actually looking forward to see what the main theme is going to be on this one.
And it looks like from the trailer that they've still done the animate, like the little miniatures. You remember the first film when they did miniatures and the stop motion animation, which obviously Tim Burton loves.
Yeah.
But it looks like they've actually they kept the aesthetic of the first film.
Yeah.
Like, excellent.
And then we just got to wait for the third one to come out after that.
No.
Yep.
Just
Yeah, because Beetlejuice.
Amber said that
This
on the
one-
last podcast.
Yeah. Because this one's called
That was her
Beetlejuice.
first.
Beetlejuice.
That was her first.
Amber, stop it.
Well, no, it seems obvious. Like, why would they call it Beetlejuice if they weren't going to do a Beetlejuice, you know?
Yeah, we
That's a
don't.
tongue
No,
twister.
just end it again. Just end that one in. That's enough.
I think it would be a mistake if they make Beetlejuice and they leave it open-ended. I think they should just end it. And then if it's a great success and they have an excellent idea for a third one, then maybe they can do the third one. But if they leave it open-ended, we're all going to be disappointed.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But at least I don't think that's Tim Burton. I mean, apart from that Planet of the Apes that he did, I mean, everyone's got a little dog on their CV, hasn't they? All these great directors, they've all got a bit of a bastard on their CV. Planet of the Apes is his one.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think the boy has done anything.
No.
He tells fairy tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tim Burton is a fairy tale director. That's the story that he knows inside and out. And Beetlejuice is a great fit for that. I don't think that Planet of the Apes was that.
did any of you ever see? Oh, no, really, I should remember the name of this film before I'm asking people if they've ever seen it. But it was about a bunch of weird kids.
Oh, that film, yeah.
About a bunch of weird kids in the mansion. It's a Tim Burton film. And oh shit. Anyway, but what it basically was the X-Men. When I watched this film, and it was about a bunch of kids in this mansion, I think it was old Eva Green. Yeah, it was. It was Eva Green was like the headmistress of this home or this school. And it was like
Dark Shadows?
No.
Peculiar Children? Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children?
That's the one. That's the one.
I think I started that. I didn't finish it though.
And do you know what? All that, and when I watched it, I thought, all this is the X-Men. Instead of Charles Xavier, Eva Green's character, and it was weird and wonderful. And it was Tim Burton's take on the X-Men. Because a bunch of young kids with all these different powers didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And it was a beautiful thing. I love Tim Burton stuff. Love it. It's good to see him back. And if he does series 2 of Wednesday as well, I'm going to be there. If he's like, I know they kind of just plastered his name over it in a bit, but you could tell he had
a heavy hand in there.
Yeah, you could tell. And as long as they don't slap his hand away for series 2 of Wednesday, because she's in Beetlejuice as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Whatever her name is,
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
She's the new Johnny Depp, I guess. So he's what's his face? His new muse.
Yeah, his new muse. Yes,
his new muse.
Yeah, I bet he first wrote the word and Johnny Depp.
As long as she doesn't get stuck in a type of role, because I think she's really talented. I don't think she's going to be stuck. I think she's gotten some other roles too.
He always used Helena Bonham Carter as well, didn't he? Old Tim Burton.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, but again, there was nutty as he likes the ones that there was mad as a bag of frogs. And Heather Butler, yeah, she'll do anything you want, any role that Burton come up with, she'd go, yeah, I'll have some of that. Woo-hoo. Anyway, so talking about mentalists, so Joker, folie à deux, or Joker 2, as it's called in Essex. What are we thinking?
I was trying to find this new trailer. I couldn't find it. It kept coming up with the one I'd already seen.
They brought out a latest trailer. It doesn't really reveal a lot more.
I do think it still looks the same, though.
You do
I honestly think you could finish Joker 1 and go straight in it, and it looks like it's the same.
Oh, aesthetically.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think they've done that bit right, at least.
Yeah, so we're saying production design, we're giving you 10 out of 10 before we've even seen the film.
It looks like they are in the same vein.
New York.
Yeah.
They
haven't tried to change it. They haven't tried to make it fancy. They haven't put it on a spaceship. They haven't,
Oh, that's it. There was a little bit where, when he does that dance on the stairs in the first one and he kicks his leg up.
Yeah.
It was just a little clip where he does that same, they're on a set of stairs, and I think it might be the court, and you've got Lady Gaga on one side and him the other side doing that kick, but it's just that one little moment. But I've got to admit, for just that second, I did laugh out loud. I thought, oh wow, if you're gonna, and I think Liz has said this before, I trust, is it Matt Reeves?
No, it's Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips, sorry. I trust him.
I do, and this is, I think we spoke about this before, to be fair, but I think I trust him. He proved me wrong last time, hence why I'm trusting him.
Yeah,
it depends. It depends how they do the music elements to it. If the music's almost like a metaphor for it gets more and more the more they go crazy.
Yeah,
then it's an extension of his madness. Yeah,
extension of the madness, and almost you'd want it to be from Harley Quinn's perspective of as he seduces her into madness, the musical kicks off more and more.
Look at Amber's face; she's grimacing. Look, she's thinking, "Oh, Joker."
No, my concern is that this will be a hit. I'm not.
Your concern?
Great if it's going to be good. No, but then what we'll do is we'll start seeing a whole lot more movies just like this, where they're taking, the villain and making them like, okay, we're going to do a really serious drama about this character, and then we get stuff like The Penguin, which just looks like a mobster movie. They're like hyper realistic. How did this villain come about? Sort of scenario, and I don't know. I feel like we'll burn out of that really quickly if we just start throwing those out one after another, because
you know what the word is, and it's not bird, by the way. The word is grounded.
I honestly think Penguin has already killed that niche.
Oh, I like what you did there. I like what you did there. You haven't lost it in those 8 weeks since last
but I think it depends. I think it depends on what they do with Harley Quinn. Because from that, I think we said this before as well. From the trailer, it looks like she's just another person in the mental asylum instead of being the psychiatrist that's trying to help Joker, but then he ends up turning her mad. It depends how they do that.
Yeah.
Because that is your juiciness of the story. Is the person, he's the one that makes her crazy. So if she's already mad at the beginning, and then we're in for some trouble.
And I know it's controversial, but I liked old Sexy Chops as Harley Quinn. I did. I really did. And I know what was it? The ultimate emancipation of whatever.
The emancipation of no, that wasn't all that good.
No, it wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but I did watch it. I watched it at the cinema, and then I did watch it when it came out on the TV again. So there must be something about, apart from her, okay, before you go there, okay, yes. But I loved her take on Harley Quinn.
You're talking about the Barbie girl? What's her face?
Margot Robbie.
Yes, that's
Margot Robbie.
That's the one.
Andrew McCabe.
And it's a great character. when it's done well. But that's my only fear.
Yeah.
Second Joker is that it's all grounded again. You know, Matt Reeves' Batman. That's the one he done. So it's Todd Phillips doing this Joker too.
Yeah.
But grounding everything, and we've got the Penguin series, and all the years he's a mafia bloke. Has it been and gone, Penguin?
I don't think it's out yet.
I hope so. Oh,
Really?
Because I'm just not interested. I don't know.
No.
Wait, it's out? Is that what you said? It's out?
No, I don't think it is.
because you've got the second Batman movie coming now, haven't you? The Batman 2.
DeVito, like, biting people's noses off, then yes. Yeah, come on, and being all lecherous over his little helpers in his mayoral campaign.
Yeah.
See them new Turkish teeth? Mayoral campaign. Yeah, if you give me a bit of Danny DeVito, but anyway, when me and you, Liz, when we done the Batman hogCAST special,
Right.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows where I stand on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, if anyone cares, and it's exceptionalism, it's the fantasy element of it, it's the extremes, it's the wonderful, beautiful, bizarre characters that I want to see. I want someone to get that, get hold of all those characters, and like Tim Burton did. I mean, that's the classic example, really. You look what Tim Burton did with Penguin, with Joker. I know it looks a little bit outdated now, but I want a modern director to come along and do that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, with
you look at the Riddler.
with Tim Burton and Michael Keaton back together.
Live on.
Oh, yes, sure.
We can still hear you, Taters.
Oh, that one.
But with
You haven't done your chores, you bastard. Why are you doing a video? I gave you a list of things to do. Oh, it's gone quiet now.
It's gone quiet. But yeah, with Al Keaton and Tim Burton working together again, it would be quite interesting to see a Batman 3 to finish off his original trilogy. That'd be quite interesting.
It would be, but you know, I've got to admit, in my heart of hearts, Liz, I think I would rather see Matt Reeves, like a Matt Reeves-esque younger director. Just bring me something new. Bring me a new version, but please don't ground it anymore, please, because otherwise we are just going to get a detective who wears a funny mask, and then I like the supernatural, like he's trained. And I know that listen, we kind of going over a bit of old ground here, but I know like the Christopher Nolan tried to go down that almost that supernatural feel of, you know, he's only an ordinary man, but he's trained, he's honed himself, his senses, and without going there, Nolan made him almost a supernatural figure. I think that's where Nolan nailed it for a modern audience.
Yeah,
right down the middle. He satisfied the crusty old blokes like me, and while entertaining a modern audience that hasn't read any comics, but this is a good film. You know, done a sexy Catwoman. What's her name? Old Anne Hathaway. You know, look at her in her leather. You know, just modernised it. You know, back in my day, it was a bit of a shell fire. I thought, oh, there's a reason to drag Luke to the second movie. No, Luke wants to go and see that film, Shell. Grr, baby. Oh, so that's all. Well, that's everything. I've got nothing else, guys.
Dune Prophecy.
Was that the whole list?
Dune Prophecy.
Oh, I haven't seen anything for that yet. Is there trailers out for it?
Yeah, they got another trailer out.
Oh,
it still looks good. It still looks really good. But you know, it's hard.
Well, yeah.
It's going to be a series on Max, so it's hard to tell if it's going to be something that's
nice.
It's very hard to tell from a trailer if a series is going to be good, because there's so much footage, and we're only getting like a minute and a half of
Is there any Villeneuve
really-
involvement, Amber? Is he like on his
I have no
executive
clue.
or anything? Like, just out of curiosity, not that that is
Definitely, it's definitely taking cues from the Villeneuve movies because the
Nice.
costumes look the same, the aesthetic is the same. It's got that same sort of heaviness in the soundtrack. They're trying to make this into a spin-off of that. So
nice. They borrowed the wardrobe to save on the budget.
Pretty cool, yeah.
They went
think
into
it's
the
a-
warehouse, dusted it all off.
we've seen so many good films come out of HBO, where good miniseries is. I'm hoping this is going to have the miniseries format, and we're going to get whoever's been doing the great writing for HBO is supervising this, making sure that it's quality storytelling, great characters, well acted. I mean, we don't have to worry about the well acted. I'm sure it's going to be done well, but if Denis Villeneuve's not involved at all, I feel like I would trust them with total liberty in the story. You know, they were familiar with the world. We know about the Bene Gesserit and the kind of drama that does happen, but we're going to make up our own thing. Like, I feel like I could trust HBO to make sure that it's going to be something good. It's not just like, you know, a money grab. Does that make sense?
And the Bene Gesserit, I've got to admit, that is a rich vein to mine. Their history and their machinations behind the scene. You know, if you've read the books, it all makes it's a bit more exciting. But the fact that they have been weaving everything in the background for centuries, and I find it fascinating. I think that was a good choice. When they first announced it, it was going to be about the Bene Gesserit. I thought, oh, yeah, come on.
And long before Paul Atreides and whatnot. So these are all new characters, which is good.
And let's have a witch's coven, and let's hope that by episode 3 they all have a little song that they can sing.
It seems to me that this is about their first step into politics. It seems like that's what this story is going to be about. That it's about we're going to get a Bene Gesserit on the throne.
Yeah.
And so that's the goal there is we got to figure out how to do that, and that'll be fun to watch. I think it'll be like Game of Thrones, but you know, science fiction Game of Thrones essentially.
Yeah.
I really think that's what it's going to be. So
I got through. In other news, I did get through June. Is it June Messiah, the second one? I did get through that.
Oh, you read it?
On the third attempt, yeah, on the third holiday. It took me 3 holidays to get through it, but yes. And it's only a slim thing. So yeah, I'm ready for the third one next holiday. What is it? Children of June. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good book.
I don't know if I like the idea of making another film. I don't know.
Yeah.
They did definitely leave it in a space where it says like, okay, we sort of need to do something else, but
have you read
it's
all
gonna
three
have to
books,
deviate.
Amber? Have you read all 3?
So, okay, the old books I read so long ago, I really don't remember a whole lot, except that there were a few things that stood out to me. But again, it's one that I don't know. I've read the first one several times.
So isn't there more than 3?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more, yeah. But it's kind of like, those are the 3 that people talk about the most, or the first 3. I don't think that it would be a smart idea to try to turn like the second book into its own film.
No.
Like you said, there's so little I remember about it except that it was odd. And then the third, it's Children of June.
Skip it and go to Children of June, even though I haven't read it, but just skip that one.
Is there a way they could? You're saying they're quite thin books. Is there a way that they could almost do like the first 20 minutes be in the second book and then crack on with like amalgamate it sort of thing?
Yeah, or almost
Possibly.
Like I've said before, it almost feels like, and I will still maintain that it feels like a prologue. Take a break.
What's he done?
He's got to find a book.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's that little material to sort of spin it all as one big story.
I think Hog and Amber said that before, that you could potentially combine those second book and the third book into one movie. It would have to be put together, but
It's
Yeah, how
again
would
one
it
of those
flow?
cases where I think that, okay, so there were people who complained about the 2 Dune movies that we do have deviating from the book. And I'm going, I didn't mind the deviations. I thought that they were fine. I thought that the whole thing felt like a good piece on its own.
Yeah.
You know, even if it doesn't match the source material, if it's good on its own, I can live with it. I feel like a lot of changes. Again, this is somebody I read these I don't know how long ago, so long ago. I don't think, from what I remember, I don't think that it would be a smart idea to follow the books even as closely as they did for the first one. So there's going to be even more deviation. And I guess the real question is how much does he love this world? Can he replicate the feeling of being in this world and give us a story that is still somewhat true, but is going to have to be far removed from the source?
Yeah, but they're going to be clamoring for another one, aren't they?
Yeah, especially when you got Zendaya, you know, riding off into the sunset at the end of the second one. It seems like they're saying, we want to see what happens with her next.
Yeah.
And then you've got, of course, the other houses, like, hey, the other houses they're at war now, you know. So that's like, even though the goal was achieved, revenge was taken. He's got, you know, he rules Dune or whatever, Arrakis. It's such a huge open window to, and now there's the wide universe beyond, you know.
Do the books skip the war?
Do they skip the war?
Yeah, so he goes how it ends. He goes on his like crusade through the galaxy. So it skips it. So is there a way to sort of amend the timeline maybe a little bit so you see some of that war with some of the events that happen in the second and third book?
Yeah,
that could work.
Yeah, I mean, the second book just alludes to the jihad, which is that's literally what they call it, the universal jihad, and that was the, you know, the ultimate, and that's where old Paul, that's his ultimate regret that he brought that on. That's, you know, he had the visions of it and blah blah blah, and he brought on the death and destruction of all these planets, and it was literally a jihad. And then by the end of it, I don't know if I should give any spoilers.
Go for it.
How old are those books?
Yeah,
exactly. Go for it.
I think you'll be all right.
And then, so he goes out into the desert. Old Paul, he goes out into the desert to kind of be one with the worms and the sand, and, you know, give his water back to the planet, kind of blah 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 blah. And then years later, a wizened old man who's blind turns up, and that's where it gets interesting again. So this, I forget what they call the character now.
Pick
the blind man. No, but, yeah, so this old sage turns up with this young kid, you know, a young Fremen child, and he turns up, and there's this because it's a big religious thing, it does go really, really quasi, as they say over in America. It goes really quasi-religious, like to the nth degree. Like I don't know if old Herbert had the ump with the Catholic religion or anything, but it really does go there in the second book. And the girl, the daughter, is Paul's sister, is being praised, and he interferes. He turns up at one of her. All these people are praying to her, and, you know, yeah, it gets. Yeah, it's not as clean and concise as that first book. And like I say, sorry, before I had to get up and answer the door, it still feels to me like it was notes. It should have been maybe the epilogue of the first book almost. It's too long. It's almost like they rushed it and said to Frank Herbert, like, "Oh, come on, give us another book, please, mate. This one's been a big hit," and he had a load of kind of thoughts, and like with Tolkien, where he has his diaries and his notes and his character studies and his notes on some aspect of Middle Earth. That second book feels to me like a real mashup, not badly, but it feels like a mashup of disparate ideas, and there's no kind of cohesive whole to it. It really, that's just my pure personal opinion. I mean,
it sounds like an epilogue.
Yeah, it really, and it reads like it as well, and it doesn't. But not that I look at book reviews and stuff, but I've never heard anyone really slate it as a second book. Everyone lauds it, as a trilogy, like Lord of the Rings. The first 3 books, spot on. So perhaps he totally redeemed himself with the third book. I don't know, but yeah, just for that second one, it was a struggle for me to get through it. It was, and it's hard to describe, Amber, to someone who hasn't read Dune, how dense the prose is.
It's considered dry science fiction, so it's conceptual and philosophical and yeah. But oh yeah, it definitely it doesn't appeal to a lot of people as being something you can really engage in, like where you picture yourself in these situations. It's kind of like you feel like you're reading a history book almost.
Yes.
Just but it's also got a lot of philosophy and discussion of religion and politics and stuff all thrown in there as well. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's like an emotional read. I think that's probably why I didn't really particularly care for I've only read the first one multiple times,
It seems from what you're saying that the actual juiciness of the story would be from the jihad itself.
I think
everything else seems like an epilogue.
Well, and then the story becomes a lot about the like his kids and his grandkids.
Yeah.
And then some weird ass stuff happens.
Yeah.
But in terms of making it cinematic, you want to do a trilogy. The first 2 films have followed Paul. It's the first book, but the first 2 films have followed Paul. So would it not make sense to almost follow his story through the jihad? And you said he wanders off into the desert, have that towards the end. And then
but there isn't really anything spelled out though. Like, so it's going to have to all be invention. Like at the end of the second book, I remember is where he kind of wanders off into the desert. Right?
Yes.
Then he comes back in the third book, sort of. And it seems to me that you could say, okay, we're going to end the third movie with him deciding like, I want nothing to do with this. And he wanders off into the desert and the place is ruled by his kids, which I won't give away much about, but then it's like, so he just wanders off and it's ruled by the kids, but everybody knows that he's got to come back at some point. His family is essentially regarded as gods by the time you get to even the beginning of the second book. They're like worshipped because he was the Messiah.
It's really hard. It's really hard sci-fi, really hard.
Yeah. And then it gets really weird. Like some stuff happens that I think pushes the boundaries of science fiction and kind of dives almost into, well, I mean, I guess it was more in the background in the first Dune book, but I remember in the third book, some stuff happens that I'm going like, what? Like, it felt very much like fantasy. It felt it's very weird.
Worms. There was a Muppet Show song called Worms. Check it out.
A Muppet Show?
Do you want me to sing it?
Oh no, that's okay.
That's one thing I remember after all these years.
Oh, an happy moment.
A new sound that's going all around. It's a sound that's made by worms.
Oh, I tell you something else. I did on my crawling around the internet the other day.
Crawling.
They're remaking Naked Gun. Have you heard that?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Liz. I'm not having it.
No, I don't want it.
You? No, I'm not having it.
No, I mean,
No.
No, absolutely not.
Liam Neeson being Frank Drebin, I can get my head around.
No.
Why not?
No.
Leslie Nielsen.
No.
No. Right. No. Okay. Right.
Write a comedy film, Liam Neeson as a detective, and call him another name.
No, but
Don't call it Naked Gun.
Him playing the straight man, and only because he done one episode of Life's Too Short with Ricky Gervais and Warwick Davis, and he was. I don't know if any of you ever saw that episode.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good.
I think he has the chops to do it. The scary bit for me is the guy they've got in directing. I cannot remember the guy's name, and I'm not going to butcher it. But the last thing he did, so he's literally had a massive gap. The last thing he did was Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. How he's doing this. I can't remember the guy's name, and I don't want to butcher it. That's the bit that worries me more than Liam Neeson being the straight guy. Because again, Leslie Nielsen is always going to be, he's the epitome. I mean, him and Lloyd Bridges, you can't get better than them as the straight man. I think that's the two top ones, but I don't know. I can get my head around Liam Neeson. It's just this director.
This director apparently he's been a writer for Saturday Night Live for a long time.
Okay.
He's like 116 episodes have his name to their credit. Like,
okay, but the last thing he did in terms of directing, was it? I remember reading something about last thing he directed was Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
He directed, looks like a TV series. I think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, and then Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Right, and now this.
But then before that, he has directed Saturday Night Live. He's directed 68 episodes apparently.
It's the next thing to feed into the algorithm. Like, what else can we feed? What else can we?
Oh wait, he's also directed Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm just looking at his IMDb. He's got a few.
So he might be cool. He might be.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of SNL stuff.
I just can't get over the Naked Gun title.
No. Do something in Naked Gun-ish, but not necessarily Naked Gun. But again, use Liam Neeson. I think he's got the chops to do it. I really do.
Well, what did we think about Steve Martin doing Pink Panther?
No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
And I love Steve Martin. I do.
Yeah. And in the right movie, Steve Martin's great.
But Steve Martin is a comedy actor. He has a specific brand of comedy.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson is coming into this as a blank slate.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I love this, Liz. It looks like me and you versus Amber and
we've got a lot of love.
Honestly, but my whole thing for Liam Neeson fitting is purely from that one episode of Life's Too Short. And I honestly think that
I think Naked Gun is the film that we've watched the most together.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Absolutely. I say thee nay.
I think that Liam Neeson could do a great job. I'm not confident in this feeling like the Naked Gun.
No.
And still being successful.
Do something Naked Gun-ish.
The time is gone. It was a moment in time. The jokes, like, you can't.
No.
You know, think like lines like, "Oh, surely you don't." And it's like, yeah, but don't call me Shirley.
Wasn't that Airplane?
It was.
That was Airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still Liam Neeson. Still Leslie Nielsen.
Was it? But yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing.
Okay, Jim Abrams is credited. He's the writer for Naked Gun and all those and Airplane. He is credited, but I have to wonder how involved he is. Then there's this guy. What's his face? Dan Greger. And he wrote for stuff like How I Met Your Mother and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And also Chippendale Rescue Rangers. So he's obviously worked with the director before. And then Mark Henteman. I don't know who this is, but he's written for Family Guy. And then that's it, basically. Run of the House. I've never heard of that.
Cool.
It didn't last long.
Are brilliant, but like, no. Are they going to do like a little silhouette of a dinosaur? when they're talking in the office, are they going to do like a little Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Oh, you don't think that they're going to do a revival of all these old slapstick comedies? Because we've also got Spaceballs coming up, right? Don't we?
Yes, Spaceballs 2.
No.
Oh, is it Spaceballs 2? I mean, is it the second one, or are they remaking it? I can't remember now.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Talking right. So
Like
talking
a midget or Urano, we're gonna have to be on our
Spaceballs
toes.
2.
It is number 2, yeah.
Talking of revived comedies, I tried watching Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Oh, yes.
I
couldn't.
that's on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
I love the first.
I couldn't get on with. Yeah, I couldn't get on with it. I think I got about halfway through and I turned it off.
It's so soft and gentle.
It's not.
And polite, and there's just no edge. There's no edge to anything anymore.
I thought they lost the edge on number 3.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
I thought they'd lost the edge on number 3. I didn't see the point of doing number 4.
Just no, there was so much energy in them first 2. And what's her name in the second one? Stallone's bird at the time, what's her name? Yeah, and that kept us on board, didn't it? But what was her name?
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen.
Played Red Sonja.
Red Sonja.
Isn't there a new one of them coming out?
Yeah.
So they've just got to keep another one that's been fed into the algorithm, but they
also Shrek.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I'm up for that. I mean, and I'm up for a bit of Minions and Gru. There's the latest one of that out. Yeah, I'm up.
And the
for
Smurfs musical. Don't forget Smurfs.
No. I won't have anyone tell me that I'm not tall, but you are small. I won't have anyone tell me that. Where are you all coming from? I don't know why I want to sing tonight so much. Where are you all coming from? We're from Smurfland, where we belong.
And then we've got, well, I mean, you guys probably don't care about it. Moana 2. I was so shocked that they're putting out another one. Like, okay.
What number 2? What did you say, Amber? Sorry.
Moana.
Yeah, Moana. Yeah.
I did go and see what was it? Inside Out 2. I had a friend who wanted to go see it. Or no, it was not my nephew wanted to go see it. I went and saw it with him. And it was actually okay. It was good. It was not as good as the first one, but it wasn't like bad. I was like, this felt like Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
At least they did.
Masters of the Universe as well. They're remaking Masters of the Universe.
Are they?
Yeah.
What, live action?
I'm not sure. I did dig around a little bit in that one. And once I found out they were messing around with the storyline, I kind of just like, I stopped looking. So they're now putting Adam as an orphan from Earth.
What?
Yeah. So although he's like, so in the original, his mum was from Earth. She's an astronaut and she had an accident and she ended up on Eternia and she met Randor and they fell in love and they had a baby and blah, 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 blah. But on this, Adam is from Earth.
This is not due to come out.
As soon as I read that, I was like, no, I'm not. No.
It's due for 2026.
That's it. Yeah.
Isn't it?
And it's Amazon MGM is doing it.
Uh-oh.
And is it live action or are they going animated?
I am having trouble finding that information.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Oh, it says live action feature.
Live action. Oh wow.
If it's a feature film, I don't know. Remember we were talking earlier about why was Fallout so good, and I noticed that it was Amazon's MGM Studios that did it, and I thought maybe it's literally just MGM, but Amazon owns it now, and that's why we got such a great show.
Now they're just making it Star-Lord.
Maybe this would be okay.
And it's a shame nothing brings out a film like an original film anymore.
No.
Just a film like something new.
Oh,
It would be nice.
Too
well,
risky.
we did have a brief chat about Megapolis with what's his face, Adam Driver, but that was more for the fact that
Oh,
me and Liz want to sue.
Oh yeah.
They nicked our music. They nicked our
that looked good.
visuals.
What was that you were saying about the last scene or something? I saw that in the chat and I thought, what are
Yeah.
they talking about?
Well, when we did the 84th, the lighting was, well, I say literally exactly the same. It was the other way round, but the way they set the lighting up with
Yeah,
and
exactly
the
the same
music
shot
was
for sure.
so close to what we did.
Yeah.
Um,
Copyright.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, they nicked our
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
You
all it
paid
is.
for it. You paid for it, so you should be upset and all.
Yes. Now I'm angry.
Oh, Gladiator 2.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Did anybody else cringe with that rhinoceros and just go,
Yes.
no?
That was so funny, wasn't it?
It's
Oh,
just,
I
I
died a
did-
little inside.
I didn't like the music at all. The music took me out of the
No.
trailer straight away.
Why did they do that? Why did they have to have?
To appeal to a new audience.
I like Denzel. I like Denzel. Just like, there's no. I'm not even going to change accents. I'm not
No,
going to
that's
try.
it.
I'm just going to be me.
But then again, Denzel, they've obviously someone somewhere has said, look, we haven't got Oliver Reed, and he just about survived the first film. But who can we have to? Who's our Ben Kenobi? Right, let's get Denzel. So I do see, I can kind of like see why they've got Denzel in it. Right, I get it.
Surely they could have given him a dialect coach though and just changed the way he spoke a little bit.
Oh yeah, but what do you want them to do? Like talk a day? Eh? What do you want them to say? But I've lost my train anyway. Again, another movie. No one wanted it.
No.
They fed it into the investor algorithm, and it needs to be. It can't be original. The algorithm that says you won't make will you make any money from this film? The algorithm the computer says no.
Well, I mean, based on the based on the trailer.
I did call it as well about the kid, didn't I?
Based on the trailer, though, it was how can we use as much of the gladiator as possible in this movie? It's just all flashbacks. It's like, let's just sort of get loads of flashbacks in and remember the first one, and then we'll try and add a little bit of story to it as well. And Denzel.
Yeah. and Denzel. It's
The new shots did look like I some of the stuff from inside the Coliseum, especially, I was like, that actually looks like they are replicating the cinematography from the first movie. So I was like, that looks nice. And then that rhinoceros came out, and I was like, nope, done. I'm over. We're past it. Like,
that's it.
I
That
was
was so out of left field, wasn't it?
I mean,
it was just because
you think
it was
tigers? Was it the tigers or the lions in the first film with the claws?
Yeah, but they were real. Those were real.
But that's actually what they did as well in the Colosseum. They had the tigers under the floor. But
no, they would do rhinoceroses, and they would have like on water battles, which is really cool. Like there's some really cool stuff they could do with the Coliseum that they actually did, stuff that's really wild and would look
Did they
cool.
actually do the water battles then?
Yeah.
With the boats
Yeah.
in the Colosseums. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks like they're just throwing it in with special effect, CGI, which to me still looks fake. And that was one of the wonderful things about the original movie, was that they really did all this stuff. They really got tigers out there, and obviously it's superimposing, but at least they were real animals.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that is the most obvious CGI rhinoceros I've ever seen. It's going to take me right out of the moment.
Yeah.
I know it.
Well, it did in the trailer. It literally did in the trailer. You just fall about laughing. It's just
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you cast a rhinoceros in a film, but surely it would have been easier to.
They did that in an episode of Only Fools and Horses, didn't they? There's a rhinoceros loose in the city.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that one? No. Oh.
They try and write the film script. It's hilarious. But yeah, no, it didn't. It took me right out of it. The rhinoceros took me out of it. To be fair, the water bit took me out of it when they filled the Colosseum up with water. So I was thinking, there's no way that's watertight. But obviously, if they have actually done it, then
no, they did that. But I'm pretty sure there was no way that they could fill up the Colosseum. But they did do recreational battles of that. But I'm
Yeah.
sure it wouldn't have been like 20 meters deep in water, and the Romans were pretty cool, but they didn't do. I'm pretty sure we should have done more research, guys. Otherwise, we might be looking stupid here.
Googling. Too late for that, mate.
Googling.
We're at episode 34. I think people have worked that out by now.
Is Amber Googling?
I'm Googling.
Harsh but fair, Taters.
Okay, no, they would really fill it up and have boats on there. I mean, I knew that they did water battles, but it looks like obviously we don't know for sure what it looked like, but I'm guessing from descriptions, these are some artists' renditions. It looks very similar. I don't think I would believe it being super deep, though.
No, because it would be, the water would be anyway. We're not here for a historical discussion on ancient Rome. We can if you want. I mean, I think I've got a book actually. I think I've got a book on the
How to build a Colosseum.
That's waterproof.
Oh, matron, you leave my Colosseum out of this. No,
I'm sure they had the technology to fill it a little bit, but imagine how the logistics of filling up the Colosseum with that much water.
They didn't have hoses, did they? They didn't have hoses. They didn't have big tankers. They
probably had some sort of a not canal, like a aqueduct type of thing going on to feed into it, but still making it tough enough to hold huge amounts of water. I'm guessing it wasn't particularly deep, and then they would have had to redesign the way that their ships are in there, because like then you got to get a ship in there, so they had to build stuff in there, unless they had some sort of a crane system, which I know that the Greeks did.
It does.
I mean, in terms of being a promoter, I mean, if you're promoting the gladiator fights on a Friday night, and you think your Saturday main event's going to be we're going to do this big water battle, you're out of business for at least a couple of weeks before.
Oh, you're trying to
and then you got to try and get rid of it all.
But sensibly, you do that the other way around. You do the water battle first, and then do the gladiator fight after.
Yeah, like you got to then try and get rid of the water.
Go down the drain.
I mean, the grounds would be having a nightmare, wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? And
that sounds like that sounds like a great idea for a new series. The promoter outside of the Colosseum, like the lads selling the tickets. Like, come on.
If you do the water battle, you're out of business for a good week afterwards. Getting rid of all the water, getting all the ground sorted again, and nightmare. Logistic nightmare that is.
They could cover it if they drain it to a certain level, and then they cover it, because I know that they would cover, because there's a maze underneath the main floor.
Have you been there?
Yes.
No, I've never been there, but I've seen plenty of stuff about. Oh, you've been there?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
it is fascinating. Yeah,
it's awesome, and it's smaller than you think. Like
yes,
like it's big. Like you imagine it's Wembley Stadium, but it's like half the size. It's like it's small, but those little corridors under what would have been underneath the bottom. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the pictures from Gladiator 2, from the trailer, and it looks like they've got sharks in the water. Did I miss that?
Of course. Of course. And this goes back to Liz as the promoter. Yeah, we've got sharks.
We've got fucking sharks. Put the sharks in there.
Trying to sell
stingrays, sharks, you get it. We'll have it.
You've got a koi carp running around. We've got sharks, mate. No, actually, we've got a whale.
I could see, like, they're putting sharks in there because then you get to watch people get. Oh yeah, okay. I just remembered. You do get to see a shot of somebody falling in the water and getting nabbed by a shark. I don't know. To me, too much special effects is going to ruin the beautiful realism that we had from.
Where'd they get a live shark from?
The sea.
They would just go out and net one, and then put it in somehow.
Empire would have.
They found ways to, like. I could believe the Romans finding a way to get a shark in there, but to put a whole ship in there, that would be impressive.
Caesar, he would have just got on the old dog and bone. He would have gone, wait, I need a shark.
The question ends up being like, do they build a ship in there, or do they? Yeah.
Boys, I've got the boys selling tickets. I need a fucking shark. I told them there's going to be a shark.
Well, you think about it, they put them in there they're going to die. Like it's not, the water temperature is not going to be the same as it would be out in the ocean. So they must get, if they have sharks, they would have to put them in, and like the next day is when the battle is, because I just can't imagine them living very long.
So we got Friday night with gladiators. We got Saturday night with the sharks. Sunday's a barbecue.
In a really smooth segue from practical effects to CGI effects, have any of you seen Mad Max Furiosa?
No.
Right.
I heard it was good.
Yeah. Now this is controversial. I really enjoyed it, and so did Luke. But
okay,
it was nowhere near like the visceral impact of Fury Road. Nowhere near it. But nevertheless, and I know that old Hemsworth has come in for some stick.
I was going to ask, how did he get on as the villain?
But that boy is hamming it up as if his life depended on it. He's hamming it up. You know, we don't mind him hamming it up when he's playing the God of Thunder, but he's got a bit of a belly, and you know, well, that's all right. But oh no, don't ham it up in Mad Max. No, he's doing the same shtick over there. And I'll tell you what, it was good.
So he was literally being Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
it works. Yeah,
yeah, he's just so over the top. He's over the top, but in this world, this post-apocalyptic world, if you think back to Fury Road, and I love the world of Mad Max, and it's George Miller's baby. No one else at the moment, unless any of you guys can correct me. George Miller has had all of his hands all over it since day one. Mel Gibson's first Mad Max film, George Miller's been all over it, right? He's no one. So it's all his. And this was still his film, and it felt like it. But I think because Fury Road was so spectacular in its intensity, those practical effects with the stuntmen on the bendy bars and the motorbikes going across you remember all these action scenes? They were every single one was done practically. In Furiosa, the only difference is they've swapped it out. And I thought it would make me hate it. But Luke concurred as well, and I just went, "Wow!" And he went, "Yeah, it is an enjoyable film."
Good, about time.
I heard good things about it.
Yeah, it is about time. And if you hear anyone slagging off Hemsworth, no, I'm not going to have it.
We tell them.
Yeah, I'm not having it. You tell them. geekyOlhog said, "I'm not having it." Hemsworth. Okay. He is hamming it up. Don't get me wrong.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, Hams. Yeah, you that said that when we'd seen it. It was you, Tayters, wasn't it? No, someone else said that to me. Was it you?
Well, you know more people than us.
Yeah, one or two.
You got 5 friends?
No, not friends. I've just trolled them online.
All right, okay.
They have to talk to me, otherwise I'll just keep on. I don't know what that.
Mural?
Digging a burrow.
Yeah.
No, that's supposed to be typing out my trolling texts.
Gotcha.
I can troll. Don't worry about that.
I'll bet you can.
Right.
Is that out? It's still in theaters, or is it out now?
It must be out. It must be out in general, like pirate world by now. Or TV Town, whatever they called it.
Want to look it up?
How
is what's her face? How is the girl?
Oh, do you know what? I was just going to say, Amber. I was just going to say that there's nothing. I haven't seen her in anything yet where she doesn't own the scene. I haven't seen her in anything yet. I love Anna Taylor-Joy. I had to say her name out completely because I remembered it.
Didn't she do that? Didn't she do? Well done. Did you do that film with Ralph Fiennes, that weird
The
restaurant
Menu,
one?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's in Dune very briefly.
Hmm.
Second Dune.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she's awesome. No, and yeah, it was just all good. I don't think, other than the fact that I think initially it is a bit jarring. You can tell that if maybe because I'm a bit of an over the top fan of Fury Road, you can just tell. But no, actually, you can tell it's CGI.
Mhm.
When a motorbike, say, jumps over one of the trucks, or and there's an explosion and all that. Literally 90% of that was practical in Fury Road, and you so getting back to production design, and it all looks the same. It does. But there's something in the back of your brain that's saying, no, that isn't the same. That isn't real. But I think you get over it. I think the momentum of the film, and it's
Okay.
down to George Miller. I know I'm saying a lot of fanboy of George Miller because I am. It's down to him. He does keep that momentum going. He doesn't let up. Honestly, same as Fury Road. He does not let up. He gives you a pause every now and again. Gives you a pause, and it will be a stupid scene with Chris Hemsworth and pregnant women, and they're the ones that are giving birth to, and it's Immortum Joe, or whatever his name is, and the pale faced geezers. Oh yes, no, I loved it.
Good. End on a positive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, unless anyone else has got a positive movie experience to share, you might as well.
I wish I had one, to be fair.
I just watched all of The Expanse again. I mean, that's good.
Oh, that's a good show.
I love that.
Oh,
So
what one?
The Expanse on Amazon.
Oh.
Really good.
I
One of
was
the
just
things Amazon got
talking
right.
to somebody about it. Yeah, I've tried it a few times, but I don't get past a couple of episodes, and it's not because I'm not interested. I think it's just slower. I'm not hooked, and I get distracted by something else, and then I just never get back to it. But I could tell it's good. Like, you can see that this is going to be a great show. I think it'll just probably take a while to get into.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's one of them. I'm the same, Amber. I think it's one of them that when there's nothing else on, like Series 6 of Cobra Kai, I'll watch it.
Ah,
I'm surprised you didn't mention that first.
did you watch the
I
first?
honestly thought you would have been coming like.
I know
You didn't watch it yet?
I know it's a waste of time. I'll do a separate video for all of my Cobra Kai fellow fans. I know I'm not going to waste any airtime on you three, because it will just be blank. Like even Liz will be.
I liked the first season. My family loves the show. They've
no.
watched them all. They said it got a little bit too teeny boppery towards the middle. Like, the later episodes were more aimed at teens. Like, there was more drama with the teens.
Speaking emojis.
There's only so long that you can do the whole, I've been out of touch with, the current trends. I'm still living in the 80s. Like, there's only so long that you can carry that on before it becomes old, I think.
Hog's been trying it for the last 30 years.
It is deliciously cheesy. I don't even like cheese in real life. It is so cheesy.
And you love it.
I absolutely love it. I lap it up. I can't believe I started watching from series 1. I said about I used to watch Game of Thrones, the series before the next one. I started watching episode 1, series 1 of Cobra Kai again, and I'm still laughing. I'm still enjoying it. And I've never watched. And do you know what? There's a part of me that thinks Roy, or Hog, as I'm known on YouTube, watch Karate Kid, because I've never seen that film.
Really? You've never seen any of the Karate Kid movies?
No, not a one. Not a one. And when Karate Kid in Cobra Kai, he goes on about Miyagi and Miyagi-Do and all that, and he goes to his graveside and all the rest of it. And it's a beautiful autumn scene, even though it's in LA and it got all the leaves. and it's all like nicely bronzed, you know, and sad, and he's brushing the dry leaves off the top of his what's it. I'm still involved. I'm still thinking, oh, you love that old boy. And then they show you a clip from the film, the original film. They just show you a little clip. And then all of a sudden he's in the same car. And that's the one that old Miyagi gave him. And he was doing the wipe on and wipe off and all that. And, yeah. I love it. I tell you what, you just sit back like that, like I did earlier on. I got myself a beer and a big bag of fucking crisps, right? I did, and this is honest to God, I got a beer and a big bag of crisps, episode 1, series 6, and I just relaxed. I just went, yeah, come on.
Have they dropped all of them? They dropped the whole. They dropped the whole of season 6, haven't they?
No, I think it's only the first 3 or 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're doing that horrible thing.
That's unlike Netflix. Netflix just normally go like, bosh, there it is.
I could be wrong. But
that'd be once or twice.
When I run out of the new episode, I'm just going to go back to where I was. I think I was up to series 2, you know, halfway through series 2. And it's so cheesy. Cheesy and easy is how I'm going to describe it.
Just how you like it.
Yeah, but it so is. And what they do is your audience expectation. When you think like, oh, that fella is like, he fancies that bird, but the bird don't like him, like, oh, because he's a geek and blah, blah, blah. And you think, wouldn't it be great if he got in with her? And then he learns karate. And then, yeah, he does get the bird.
Well, you got the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. There's 5 there.
Just looked as well. You got
audience expectation. You think, oh yes, you want to see him get the girl, or you want to see the girl get. There is I think it's series 2 where the girl gets the girl. So there's something for everyone, and there is karate.
Yeah,
I shouldn't like it. I don't know why. Like I say, I never saw the second film. And now, do you know what? I don't want to watch them because I think it might spoil it.
They're just as cheesy. I think they're just as cheesy. I think the cheese will carry through. I think you'll get
probably more so. You'll watch it and you'll be like, this is actually you could not imagine it being made today. Did you see that video that somebody made about the bad guy actually being the victim and the hero's the villain? Did you see that? So this show, I think, was inspired by this YouTuber who made a video claiming that the hero from Karate Kid was actually the villain, and he goes through the movie and you go, oh my gosh, he was the villain. And then this show comes out where we're following the bad guy from the movies.
Yeah, Johnny Lawrence,
and we're following him as though he's the victim. And like, it's I gotta send it to you. I'm gonna send that to you.
But that's what I liked about the season 1 of Cobra Kai. It was the turnaround. The
Karate Kid. He's the bastard. He wants to stop Johnny Lawrence at all costs, and it's like
it just became pretty samey.
Yeah,
pretty quick. Yeah.
No, it didn't.
It did.
I'm just gonna edit these.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Just as I go to say that,
I won't hear a bad word said about it. I'm sorry.
I'm sending you this
drawing the line
thing now.
Drawing the line in the sand. No. You either love Cobra Kai or you're dead to me.
How many episodes are there per season?
Millions. Don't worry about it. It's loads.
Looks like season 1, there's 10. There's 10 in all of them except
10.
The last one, which only has 5 so far.
They're about 20.
Yeah, you got half the season and they're going to drop the other half.
I think it's glorious. It's a glorious thing. And I only caught up, I think series 4 come out and there was someone banging on, it was someone online banging on about Cobra Kai. And I thought, really? Really? It can't be that good. And it was someone that kept popping up who was talking about other stuff. I'll tell you who it was. Nerdrotic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And where he was moaning about, this was like just after, or maybe even during the pandemic, and he was going, but you've got to watch Cobra. And I thought, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, but I tried it, I'll tell you what, literally, I was hooked.
No regrets.
Yeah, literally hooked. It's such yes, a cheesy delight.
Good.
Another
There's
positive. See, I've changed.
People love the 80s
Change,
now.
man.
Everybody's in love with the 80s, and anything we can do to bring back the 80s and the early 90s, I think we're going to see a
Well,
lot
we've got
more.
a Mork and Mindy film coming in, hopefully. No,
You don't go there. No, no. But yeah, well, you saying that, Amber? Stranger Things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was recreating?
Yeah.
The whole vibe, the whole thing.
Mhm.
We've got one more season of that, haven't we?
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, can't wait. But as long as they end it, just go now. Just do
Yeah.
it and go now. Just
I think-
things.
The latest update I saw was essentially they're making 8 movies, is what was this they described this season. You know how the last episode of season 4 was like 2 hours long?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently every
They're doing
episode's
that
like
8 times.
that. Yeah.
It's a bit
Which
like your favourite.
essentially that's 16 episodes, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just break it down a bit more. There's no need to make it that long. We'll see. We'll see.
It's a bit like your favourite band or your favourite singer. Like, you know, imagine you like the Rolling Stones, but do you want to see them keep getting wheeled out in their set? You know, I like Duran Duran, but I don't want to go to a concert and having my age reflected through them. Like, oh, I'm that old now, am I? They don't want me to throw my knickers at them anymore.
They wanted it then.
No, they did. They loved it. I had a little thong back in the day. I used to give it some of that. Twang. Always at Simon.
I'm
Levon.
predicting we're going to see a lot more of these 80s revivals, and
Yeah.
because I think it's very, very popular with the kids who are just coming out of high school right now, and they are the rulers of TikTok and Twitter and all these, Instagram. So we're going to see an attempt to appeal to that crowd. And the 80s, I think it started with Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things came out and people were loving the post-punk new wave vibe and that feel of a movie. And so I think we're going to see a lot more.
And Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
The game.
is the
Grand Theft Auto has got a lot to do.
I see.
People knowing the music and what went on.
Mm.
And I only know this through Luke, where I don't know what it was the other day. And I said, how do you know this song? And he said,
Grand Theft Auto.
it's in Grand Theft Auto, but he loved it. I think it was Flock of Seagulls.
Oh,
Do you remember
wow.
Yeah, it was Flock of Seagulls. And he said, it's from, and I went, but when I try to, you're an R&B boy, you like all the, oh, listen, I'm not going to go there. With the shit music my kids like, except Amber, who likes Taylor Swift, and who's the other one? Hannah Montana.
Are you actually referring to
No,
me?
his daughter Amber, not you.
Oh.
My daughter Amber, sorry. Amber.
Okay. I was like, I couldn't even tell you one song by either of those artists.
You don't know any Hannah Montana? AKA,
I mean, I know she was like a Disney show, right?
what's her real name? Mine.
Miley
Now she's
Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus. Oh, I know Wrecking Ball. That's about it. But
I literally had to sit there watching when it was Disney. What was it? When they had
it was called Hannah Montana, wasn't it?
Wizards.
The
Yeah,
show?
Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place.
That name is familiar, but I couldn't pick it out. I don't know anything about it.
Going off on too much of a tangent here now.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm just trying to remember where was the first like 80s revival thing that I saw. I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
That had something to do with it as well. To be
Yeah.
fair.
I think that definitely.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, a bit of Vice City, a bit of
That was all
bit
about
of that. What do we think's the next 80s reboot then they're going to do?
Oh, aren't they doing
There's
The
a few
Last
in the
Starfighter?
works. Yeah, I'll say there's a few in the works. Last Starfighter's one. Jesus, what's the Flight of the Navigator? That's another one.
Oh yeah, that could be
Um,
cool. That's actually a really
I'm
good
sure
story
I
with
read-
a super low
I'm
budget.
sure I read something about they were looking at doing Explorers as well.
Leave them alone. Most of them are really shit, when they. But
What, the 80s movies?
Yeah,
I love the 80s movies.
No, I
Who,
do.
who was the kid in Never Ending Story? That kid, he was in loads of things.
You want me to sing again, didn't you? You want me to sing Carl.
He was in loads of things. Do you remember what was the one he done? Daryl, where he plays the kid with the computer brain, and he.
Don't you mean DAR?
That's the one.
The A-Team.
The A-Team, yeah, the A-Team. Yeah, that was done.
They tried that.
Hang on, that was Liam Neeson.
Oh yes.
No. I think there's a new one coming out.
See
Oh,
what a
they're doing it
success
again.
that was, Liz. See what a success he made of that comedy, and I hope he makes a success of.
It wasn't a comedy. That was a serious thing.
No, well, I'll tell you what the serious thing is, Taters. You get me a T-shirt saying "No new naked gun," right?
No, naked.
The hog says, and Liz wants one.
The hog says no. Hog says no.
Yeah, the hog says no, and the hog and Liz says no.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
no naked gun. He shall remain naked. Leave Drebin. Yeah. No, we've got to think of a little catchphrase like "Leave Drebin." Drebin won't want this, or there's got to be a quote from one of the films.
There's probably loads.
Liz, this might require an
I
all-night.
wonder if they'll ever try and remake Blazing Saddles.
I don't know. They're doing Spaceballs, so
The trouble is with the remakes of the comedies, and this is where it for me goes. It falls a little bit flat, a lot like Beverly Hills Cop 4. I'm not saying it's a tragically sad shit film, but you know when something is so safe.
Are you sure you're not saying that?
No, I am. Where it's so safe and sanitized, and you just sit there and there's nothing offensive.
No.
But my God, surely comedy should be taking a piss at someone, laying it down, telling the truth, saying how it is, making you look at something a different way. But comedy now, it's so, I don't know, it just doesn't, does it? Where 80s comedy, it would insult someone, it would.
Well, yeah, I mean, Eddie Murphy in the 80s was definitely.
Yeah, it would take the piss. And that's another thing with Beverly Hills Cop 4. He doesn't go.
Oh, he doesn't do that stupid laugh, no, at all.
No, I was waiting for it. I was literally waiting for it. There was lines of dialogue where I thought he's going to end that with a he, or ha 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 ha. However it's written in the script, like or whatever his name.
Gaffer.
Whatever his name is, Gaffer. With a double F.
That's it.
A Gaffer. Oh, Taters, you're so silly. You don't even do that. It was good to see the old game back though. Like it was good to see the old game back, but it was tenuous. It really was. 40 years later, like the bloke that was old in the first Beverly Hills Cop film, you know, the dry one with the suit and all that. Kid, he's now head of the LAPD, whatever it is, and you think, what, 40 years later, mate? He's still got brown hair. I mean, I thought I've been to Turkey, but I don't look that bad. No, it's worth a watch, but it does make you think, like, all the energy from the first two. I'm not saying the third one, but all that energy, that vibrancy, great scripts and action scenes and all that, and it just rocked along, didn't it? It really did. And you know, they're classics for a reason.
Yeah.
They
I just think that humor changing also from generation to generation and even era to era. I mean, we've got, I don't think that the humor today is the same as it was even just 10 years ago. It's totally different. You know, things that happen socially or in history completely change the way that we put humor out there. And I don't know. I just, so much of this older humor, like what we got from Airplane, especially what we got in Airplane.
Hot shots as well.
Yeah, it's very irreverent, and irreverence is not considered politically correct right now. It's not something that people are doing mainstream. I don't think it's going to work. I think that's why those were your problems with Beverly Hills cop is that
You just reminded me, actually, talking about hot shots, and earlier I said about Lloyd Bridges playing the straight man. Someone on YouTube has put together clips from hot shots of Admiral Benson to President Benson, and everyone's basically saying, this is Joe Biden. It's worth a watch. It's so
I
funny.
gotta check it out.
It's
I'm not being funny that they in Hot Shots, it was part two, wasn't it? They had the president having a lightsaber fight with Saddam Hussein.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah, and
It's-
now,
yeah.
what film company now, what film distributor now would allow that? They would go, oh no, we lose sales in, I don't know, fucking Saudi Arabia or whatever.
Mm.
But
It's the first Naked Gun. He has to save the Queen, isn't it? It's just like I'm just trying to think of Naked Gun quotes now.
Naked Gun. Yeah, I know. When you're
The only one I can think of is the like a midget at urinal. I'm gonna have to stay on my toes.
yeah.
That's the only one I can think of at the moment.
But it's like you think of the scenes like the one with the Queen again at the what's it where he's cracking open the lobster or the crab, flicking all over the place. But it's class. Oh, it's great stuff. And you know, holding the ladder, looking at old Priscilla going up the ladder, going, "Oh, nice beaver," and she hands him a stuffed beaver like. I mean, come on.
It's like stupid stuff in the background. Like when there's a crime scene, it was like on the waterway, and they just put like a chalk outline, but it's just floating along the water and stuff like that.
The chalk outline on the water. Yeah.
I can't think of many slapstick comedies today that are widely enjoyed. Can you?
No, I mean, the only thing I can sort of like the most recent, and this is going back quite a few years now, is when you had the sort of there was another sort of burst of like the spoof movie. You had like a Piss Take of the Spartans. You had the scary movies.
Yeah,
Like that
but that's
sort
been
of
been a
stuff.
long time. Yeah,
That's been a hell of a.
time.
That's been a really long time.
But even they started to
15
lose it.
years ago. Was that 15 years ago? Do you reckon?
That's probably more than
I
that.
reckon.
Probably 20 plus years ago.
I
The
reckon it
Wayans
was not-
brothers. That was the Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah, it
if
must have been.
like a Jim Carrey or someone come along, you know, just blow it out, just blow everything out in the water.
Yeah.
Or like
I was just trying to think: is Ryan Reynolds the new Jim Carrey, but like the later versions of him?
Similar. And you know who Ryan Reynolds is now, don't you, Amber?
I do know who he
You
is
know,
now.
right, okay.
Now
So
I know.
you can differentiate the two. You know who.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
it figured out.
Oh yes,
Ryan Reynolds is the funnier one, I think.
yes.
Ryan Gosling just has that look.
We all have a moment, Amber. We all have.
Did anyone see the Fall Guy talking to Ryan Gosling? I haven't
Yes.
seen it.
Yes.
Was it all right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't seen it actually.
It was as funny as I thought it was going to be. It was a piss take movie. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not trying to be serious at all on any level.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's fun. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did try watching, and I know Liz, you said it was pretty good. Ryan Reynolds was it Free Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It was all right.
It's a good crack. Did you watch Project Adam?
That was good.
That was good. That's another Ryan Reynolds. That was Netflix. That was
Wait.
That was.
Project Adam, is that the one where he meets his younger self or whatever?
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Actually, yeah, I remember you one of you two
That was good.
like that before. Yeah, no, I haven't.
He had some good ones on Netflix. I mean, he had Underground 6, Project Adam, Red Notice with Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot. He's had some decent.
That was a good.
Underground 6, yeah.
Was that like the little Fast and Furious-esque kind of
Yes,
film?
yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I thought that was who directed that? Do we know?
I haven't got a clue.
No idea.
It wasn't the Russos, was it? It wasn't one of the Russo brothers who done that. Because I thought that was
That was a good movie, yeah.
Yeah. That again, it delivered. It didn't.
Was it Underground 6 or 6 Underground?
Now you're just being pedantic, you alien.
I'm just trying to see who directed it.
Oh, you're just trying to get it on your space station.
Michael Bay.
Ah. Yeah, see, that's why it's so grandiose.
Mm.
I do like a bit of Michael Bay. Again, I know, you know, we should like all the auteurs, but no, with Michael Bay, I mean, like Ambulance.
That was a good film.
Just goes over the top. You know what you're going to get, and he doesn't let up. He just doesn't let you breathe for a minute. Or no, he does. He gives you a little pause, and right now we're going again.
Yeah.
Here's another car crash that lasts for 20 minutes. Here's another 30-minute set piece involving 85 different vehicles and 45,000 different camera angles, and we've got drones. He loves a drone now, doesn't he, Michael Bay? Like in Ambulance, there's a shot. I think I said to you, Liz, didn't I? You hadn't seen it, and there's a drone shot, and
we watched it.
He times these like a police cars and that going like that, and it's obviously a drone shot going between these vehicles as they do that in slow-mo. It can only be a drone, and it's all
that's quality. It was a good film.
He loved the drone in that. A bit like us lot droning on.
Yeah.
But I think we've reached the end, haven't we?
Yeah.
Is that a good catch-up, guys?
Poor Amber, she's only got a little while. She's got to go again for another 2 hours.
Yeah, Amber, I think we'd all join in your live streams, but the timing is ridiculous.
I know, it's okay.
I've got to be up at 6 a.m. So
no. Taters was there for the first one. Like, I was really surprised, but thanks for coming to that one.
Well.
Yeah, they're going pretty well. I'm surprised how many views I'm getting, so that's good.
Nice. No, that's
like that first one was like, dang, I'll do these every day if I'm going to make this kind of money.
Hey,
I was really happy.
Nice.
That's really good.
Nice. Well, it's good to see you all, guys.
Yeah,
you too.
Yeah.
Let's try and do it every 2 weeks. I know you lot, you know, you fart.
Yeah, we keep going to Turkey, don't we? We just keep fucking off on holiday.
I'll definitely get a refund on the hair, mate. To be fair.
Really? He doubled it. He said it was double thick. It'll be like a carpet. He said it'd be like Axminster. He said, your woman. He said, when your lady runs her hand through your hair, it'd be like Axminster. I don't know where that accent come from.
No.
That's when you know it's time to go to bed. Freeze frame.